Chapter 1741, War Banner of Humanity. Chapter 1741, War Banner of Humanity. Fang Yuan's charge was fatally ferocious, and he was using Myriad Fusion Ghost Dragon Sword, which raised his demonic might to another level. Chen Yi looked at the sky as Fang Yuan approached with such momentum. His entire body shivered as he felt like the sky itself was falling towards him. It was unstoppable and unavoidable. In that case, there is no need to block it or evade it. Chen Yi, who was already a spent force, had his chest standing firm as he faced his death nonchalantly. Lord Chen Yi! Bai Tsang Shui and other Gu immortals shouted, wanting to come over to rescue him. But Qi Chu Yu, Yi Hao Fang and others followed behind Fang Yuan and quickly blocked these reinforcements. The enormous soul sword pierced through Chen Yi's body and struck Hairy Foot Mountain with its remaining force. At the next moment, Hairy Foot Mountain disintegrated while Chen Yi's corpse fell powerlessly. Chen Yi is also dead. The southern border and northern plains immortals were shaken. Fang Yuan had successively killed 2 Heavenly Court experts. His demonic might was now ingrained in people's minds. However, Hairy Foot Mountain is destroyed, but infallible Blessed Land is still standing. Fang Yuan frowned as he looked at the pile of mountain rubble under him. Heavenly Court had detected the precise location of infallible Blessed Land but had never invaded it in their countless years of existence. Instead, they used human path methods to borrow the strength of infallible Blessed Land and draw out success Dao marks. At this urgent moment, Fang Yuan was unable to damage infallible Blessed Land, let alone destroy it. Not long after Chen Yi died, another Gu immortal died in Heavenly Court as well. Yuan Qiongdu. He was sitting cross-legged on the ground, dying with a smile on his face. Following his death, Heaven Overseeing Tower's peak began to let out a vigorous aura. This is a rank 9 immortal Gu's aura. Fate Gu. Fried Yuan Qiongdu sacrificed himself. Does this mean? This aura's appearance froze the whole of the Heavenly Court battlefield. Longevity Heaven's members' expression changed greatly while the Heavenly Court immortals' eyes shined brightly and their faces were filled with joy. Damn it! We failed. Bing Sai Chuan clenched his teeth. Retreat. 7 Extreme Desolation remained behind as Calamity Luck Altar began to retreat. What's going on? Why do I have this feeling of emptiness? In infallible Blessed Land battlefield, Fang Yuan immediately felt something. Ha ha ha. Duke Long laughed heartily. He did not obstruct Calamity Luck Altar. He arrived inside Heaven Overseeing Tower and moved to the peak. Fate Gu, Fate Gu. Duke Long mumbled as tears flowed down his eyes. He was too happy, too excited. He was personally looking at a complete Fate Gu right in front of his very eyes. Many years of anticipation and desire, many years of longing had finally come to fruition at this moment. The meaning behind repairing Fate Gu was much more important and complicated to Duke Long than the other Heavenly Court members. Because back then, it was his own disciple who had injured Fate Gu. Hong Ting, Master has atoned for your mistake. I did not let down Heavenly Court, I did not let down humanity. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Duke Long's loud voice resounded in Heavenly Court from the top of Heaven Overseeing Tower. After over 1,000,000 years, Heavenly Court has regained a complete rank 9 Fate Gu once again. Swoosh! At the next moment, the Heavenly Court Gu immortals shouted in joy. Some were red from their excitement, some cried, and some passed away in full satisfaction. Heavenly Court's morale surged to an extreme point, while Longevity Heaven's Bing Sai Chuan and others were pale as they quickly retreated. The die was cast. There was nothing they could do now. Longevity Heaven was decisive in invading Heavenly Court and was also decisive in retreating. Over 3 million years ago. Central Continent, Chi Breath Peak. This peak was not a mountain, or more accurately speaking, it was only a mountain peak. The peak contained a dense amount of Chi Path Dao marks. It was extremely mystical. The peak could breathe out air just like the breathing of a human. Every few decades or centuries, it would fly away and move to other places, continuing to breathe different air and then continuing this cycle. Chi breath peaks were few in number, most had owners, and so did this chi breath peak. Its owner was Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable, but right now, he was only a rank 7 Gu Immortal. Gu Immortal Primordial Origin was cultivating in Chi Breath Peak, using the ability of Chi Breath Peak to breathe in different kinds of Chi and comprehend the profundities of Chi Path. On this day, he slowly opened his eyes within a secret cave. A mortal Gu Master had barged into his Chi Breath Peak. He was slightly surprised. He was a person who fully concentrated on cultivation, he was free and unrestrained. He only wanted to comprehend the great Tao and did not want to be disturbed by external affairs. Thus, he had set up many arrangements not only on Chi Breath Peak but also around the surrounding mountains. Not to mention mortal Gu Masters, even if many Gu Immortals came here, they might not be able to find his existence. They might even turn a blind eye to the mystical Chi Breath Peak. A mortal Gu Master has actually barged in today, interesting. Primordial Origin felt interested and appeared in front of this Gu Master. But before he even spoke, that mortal Gu Master kowtowed. Gu Master Yu Ji pays respects to Immortal Primordial Origin. Oh. You actually know my name. Speak, who instructed you and helped you to pass through my obstacles with just a Gu Master's ability? Primordial Origin immediately turned solemn. How could a mortal Gu Master possess such an ability? He firmly believed that there was definitely a Gu Immortal helping the Gu Master. But Gu Master Yu Ji shook his head. Immortal Primordial Origin, I did not receive any Gu Immortal's help, but relied on the guidance of Fate Gu. Fate Gu. Humph, don't talk nonsense. This Gu is a rank 9 Gu, it is protected in the Rockman Imperial Court and is watched by multiple rank 8 Rockman Gu Immortals all year round. You. Primordial Origin had yet to finish speaking when his eyes suddenly opened wide. The mortal Gu Master Yu Ji presented a Gu worm with both hands. Rank 9 aura overflowed, what else could it be but Fate Gu? Primordial Origin was instantly taken aback, his tranquil heart was greatly disturbed. He forced himself to remain calm. Yu Ji, stand up, how did you steal this Fate Gu and how did you bring this Gu here from such a faraway place? Also, you said you received Fate Gu's guidance. But according to what I know, no Gu Immortal can use Fate Gu, only the Heavenly Tao can use this Gu. How can you have the ability to use Fate Gu? Yu Ji spoke in detail, I am a slave of the beloved grandson of the first Supreme Elder in the Rockman tribe. I had been secretly working in place of Master to clean the Rockman Sacred Hall and maintain the cleanliness of Fate Gu's surroundings. I forgot which day it was, but I discovered that as long as I got near to Fate Gu, I could sense Fate's arrangements and the path of every living being's life. I received Fate Gu's guidance like this and learned of many future events and also realized my mission. Afterwards, when Featherman Gu Immortals infiltrated Rockman's Sacred Hall and were discovered, I took Fate Gu away amidst the chaos. I escaped using a hidden tunnel in the Rockman's Sacred Hall. I had Fate Gu but it restrained its aura by its own will. Although there were many dangers in my journey, be they Gu Immortals or any methods that obstructed me, I had ample time to prepare and successfully escape after receiving Fate Gu's premonitions. Thus, there were dangerous situations in my journey but never fatal threats. Eventually, I made my way here. Primordial Origin could not help but evaluate Gu Master Yu Ji internally after hearing all this. Yu Ji spoke lightly but looking at his scars, it was clear he had faced a lot of difficulties and suffering on this journey. You don't need to be modest, although you had the help of Fate Gu, it is your bravery and planning that allowed you to achieve all these as a mortal Gu Master. Primordial Origin praised, his expression became warm. He asked again, so why did you steal Fate Gu and travel so far to bring it to me? Yu Ji said, it was not I who stole Fate Gu but Fate Gu itself wanted to be brought to you. Lord Immortal, you are Fate Gu's master, I have already seen it through Fate Gu. Not only this, Lord Immortal, you are, you should experience this personally. Yu Ji then lowered his head while raising his hands, offering Fate Gu to Primordial Origin. Primordial Origin was not fully convinced, but the moment he held Fate Gu, countless images flashed past his eyes and endless information was transmitted to his mind. He immediately understood, everything was clear now. So it was not Yu who could use Fate Gu, but Fate Gu itself let him see the changes in the world and the path of all beings' lives. According to fate, variant human races, who have been dominating the 5 regions, will decline. Humanity will replace them to become the leading figures of the world. We will trample on every variant human race and become the new overlord of the world. Humanity will reign supreme. And myself, as well as this Gu Master Yu, will lead the rise of the human race. We will be the crucial characters to take on the challenges of variant human experts and suppress the situation. After understanding everything, Primordial Origin was shaken as well as happy. He could not help but feel happiness. Because he was a member of the human race. Although he had become a Gu immortal, the status of humans was very low. Most humans were slaves sold and bought wantonly by variant humans. They were humiliated and oppressed. Not only human mortals and Gu masters, even human Gu immortals had low status in the Gu immortal world. Many human Gu immortals were even slaves of variant humans. Human Gu immortals like Primordial Origin who lived freely might be besieged by many variant human Gu immortals any day. If they were unlucky enough to be taken as a prisoner, they might become slaves of the variant humans. I really wanted to resist them, but even after becoming a rank 7 Gu immortal, I cannot match the battle strength of many variant human Gu immortals. That's why I had been cultivating endlessly and wanted to create a path that belonged solely to us humans. Now that Fate Gu has shown me the way, the future belongs to us humans. I will even become the leader of the human Gu immortals in the future. I will create Chi Path and lead humanity to prosperity. Humanity will reign supreme. This is heaven's will. This is the trend of the future. This is the heart of the people. Primordial Origin was extremely excited as he laughed loudly while holding Fate Gu. He was so happy that tears fell. Yu also grinned happily. He was also a human after all. Humanity had been oppressed and suffered under the hands of variant human races for too long. After taking a long breath, Primordial Origin calmed his feelings and took a deep look at Fate Gu. Yu, you are a hero of our human race. A great hero. You brought Fate Gu to me. Even though we cannot activate it at will, this is the greatest banner we can hold. I won't hide it from you. I already had thoughts of resisting the variant humans, but there are too few of us human Gu immortals, and even more troubling is that many human Gu immortals are slaves. They are treated like ants with not even a bit of respect, and they also do not dare to offend their masters. Because they know how tiny they are when compared to the variant humans, they know how weak we humans are. But now, with this Fate Gu, we can show the world, we can let every human Gu immortal know, the future belongs to us, humanity will reign supreme. Fate Gu will summon their lost courage, ignite their hope, and spur on their fighting spirit to resist. Moreover, we can unite all of the humans with this. This is a banner. This is the war banner of humanity to rise and rule the world. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1742, Fate Vanquish. Chapter 1742, Fate Vanquish. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Inside Heaven Overseeing Tower. Duke Long softly caressed Fate Gu with tears silently flowing down his face. Fate Gu looked like a spider, colored in black and white. Its aura had been weak, there was a scarlet wound on its body that almost cut it in two. This was the injury caused by Red Lotus Demon Venerable. But now, the scarlet wound was gone without a trace. The complete and intact Fate Gu was lying down quietly with a vigorous aura. Life or death is decreed by fate, success or failure is up to heaven. All things in the world followed their own fixed trail which could not be changed. This was fate. Fate Gu was a representation of many things in heavenly court. Relying on Fate Gu, they changed the hearts of the people. Primordial origin immortal venerable led humanity to rise up, he established heavenly court. Relying on fate Gu, star constellation made arrangements and heavenly court resisted 3 demon venerables. Relying on fate Gu, Genesis Lotus immortal venerable inherited his predecessor's ambitions and progressed. Heavenly court continued to hold on to the throne of the number 1 Gu immortal force in the world. Fate Gu was not just a rank 9 Gu to heavenly court, it was the spirit and banner that had always throbbed in the hearts of countless generations of heavenly court Gu immortals. So many years, after so many years. Duke Long mumbled. The turbulent waves in his heart gradually calmed down. Duke Long's body no longer trembled from agitation, as if he was released from a heavy burden. Indeed, he felt released from a heavy burden. Differing from most heavenly court Gu immortals, repairing fate Gu had much deeper meaning to Duke Long. Because the one who injured fate Gu was none other than his proudest disciple. In other words, he was one of the culprits who injured fate Gu. All these years, Duke Long blamed himself for this. To repair fate Gu and repent for his sins, he did not hesitate in sacrificing his own life by activating Heavenly Dragon's last stand. Even when he was hibernating, he had been uneasy and terrified. Can I really succeed in repairing fate Gu? I must succeed in repairing it, I must. Otherwise, how can I face the other 2 dukes, how can I face the common people, how can I face the later generations of heavenly court members, how I face the whole of humanity? This was the voice that lingered in Duke Long's mind every day. And now, he had finally accomplished it. It was not just because of me, this was the accomplishment of all my comrades. All our sacrifices were worth it. Duke Long smiled in satisfaction. Right now, his hair was disheveled and his dragon horns were already broken, his whole body was bathed in blood. His injuries were extremely severe, but the more terrifying thing was that his lifespan was at its end. He was about to die completely without leaving behind even a trace of his soul. At the final moment of his life, although it was not his most blissful moment, it was absolutely his most free and relaxed moment. So naturally, he felt fatigue. Tired. Too tired. Both his body and mind were exhausted. The torment and burden he had endured all these years was entirely let go of, the intense battle as well as his injuries made him extremely tired. I really want to rest well. Duke Long's breathing slowed down, his dragon eyes were like the sea which contained incomparably complex and profound emotions. He slowly took back his hand and gave one last look at fate Gu before slowly turning around. His gaze moved past Heaven Overseeing Tower and swept through the battlefield. Although the battle was still going on intensely, Calamity Luck Altar had already retreated far away. It is time to end everything, this battle. Duke Long took a deep breath and spoke loudly, his voice spreading throughout the whole heavenly court. Longevity Heaven, you want to leave so easily? Hee, aren't you too naive in thinking so? Duke Long controlled Heaven Overseeing Tower to fly into the air. This immortal Gu house which was renowned throughout the world had returned to being a genuine rank 9 immortal Gu house now. Under Heavenly Court Immortal's gaze, Heaven Overseeing Tower began to let out dazzling light, as if a deity had descended upon the battlefield. Heaven Overseeing Tower, Heaven Overseeing Tower. It monitored the world, followed the will of heaven and upheld justice for heaven. This is the true Heaven Overseeing Tower. It has been so long, it has finally reappeared. I am really fortunate, I could see such a scene in my final moments. Countless gazes of Heavenly Court Gu immortals turned blurry, many of them were at the end of their lives but they had satisfied smiles on their faces. Retreat. Bing Sai Chuan's voice was so loud that it turned hoarse. Even the valiant Longevity Heaven looked scared right now as they retreated. It is pointless. Duke Long said softly from inside Heaven Overseeing Tower, his squinted eyes shined with a trace of pride. Heaven Overseeing Tower suddenly let out an intense light. Immortal killer move, fate vanquish. Light. Light was everywhere. White light. filling the world from all directions. This was a true rank 9 killer move. An attack decreed by fate that could not be dodged no matter which method was used. If fate wants you to lose, you will lose no matter what. This was an unavoidable attack. Light dispersed, the Heavenly Court immortals were all standing proudly in the battlefield, while the many past experts of Northern Plains looked shaken or in disbelief. Some had bitter smiles as they disintegrated. The phantom river of time also slowly disappeared. Calamity Luck Altar was in a highly ruined state, like a mortal hut that had suffered from a hurricane. Inside Calamity Luck Altar, Bing Sai Chuan, Bull Demon, and 5 Elements Grandmaster were heavily injured and coughed out mouthfuls of blood. Leave. Bing Sai Chuan gasped as he controlled the half-damaged Calamity Luck Altar. Yellow light shined once again in the air. This was a backup plan prepared by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. It paved out a road to retreat. Calamity Luck Altar entered the yellow light successfully. You want to leave? Where can you escape to? Heavenly Court immortals charged together. Leave quickly. Mao Li Chiu clenched its teeth. It forcibly stood up with its dying body and blocked Heavenly Court's immortals with a resolute expression. Everyone, please step back. Duke Long sent out the command. Heavenly Court's immortals were surprised. Fairy Ziwei, Lord Duke Long. Duke Long sighed, preserve some foundation for Heavenly Court. The immortals were silent. Heavenly Court had suffered a disastrous loss in this battle. It was truly a huge ordeal. As a result of lacking Immortal Gu, many Rank 8 Gu immortals had to use their own bodies to block Longevity Heaven's attacks. As such, many were sacrificed. In Heavenly Court's situation, because of the Immortal Graveyard, they had many Rank 8 Gu immortals but insufficient Immortal Gu. Duke Long still remembered how star constellations had appeared and specially instructed him to have many Rank 8 Gu immortals in hibernation. There undoubtedly were deeper reasons behind this, but in this battle, too many Rank 8 Gu immortals had awakened in Heavenly Court's Immortal Graveyard and many of them were sacrificed. Not only were there no new Rank 8 Gu immortals in hibernation, it instead caused them to lose many existing ones. Although Fate Gu was successfully restored, Duke Long still felt uneasy because of this. Heavenly Court has now completely restored Rank 9 Fate Gu, including myself. Who can go against us? Even if it is a Rank 9 Venerable method, I can fight against it using Heaven Overseeing Tower. Everyone, please return to the Immortal Graveyard. I will call for you if the need arises. Duke Long urged. Since it is so. Alright, with Fate Gu and Lord Duke Long here, which enemy can stop us? Then let's go back to hibernating. Most of the Gu immortals returned to the Immortal Graveyard, but few remained. These people were already at the end of their lifespan like Duke Long. There was not much meaning for them to hibernate again. Duke Long left behind Fairy Ziwei and others to clean up the battlefield and guard Heavenly Court, while he led a small group to chase after Longevity Heaven with Heaven Overseeing Tower. Calamity Luck Altar brought the defeated forces of Longevity Heaven and escaped Heavenly Court, but so what? Their speed could never compare to Heaven Overseeing Towers, and furthermore, they were in Central Continent. Duke Long wanted to retain these people, whether it be killing them or taking them as prisoners. Both would showcase the awe-inspiring might of Heavenly Court and let the other 4 regions Gu immortals understand the price for offending Heavenly Court. What? Longevity Heaven is retreating in defeat. Heavenly Court repaired Fate Gu completely. Sigh, this battle is our defeat, let's retreat. Escape. Heaven Overseeing Tower with Fate Gu is the #1 Immortal Gu house in the current world. Be it Duke Long or Heaven Overseeing Tower, we are not their match. After getting this news, the battle situation in Infallible Blessed Land immediately underwent a complete change. Southern Border and Northern Plains immortals had the intentions to retreat, even Fang Yuan was the same. He felt a huge pity regarding this, but he could do nothing about it. Except, he could not imagine that at the next moment, he saw the arrival of the devastated Calamity Luck Altar as well as the Heavenly Court forces chasing them closely. For some reason, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had created the retreat route for longevity heaven above Hairy Foot Mountain and it had not been discovered by anyone. Good, then I will take you all out at once. Duke Long laughed heartily. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1743, Final Chance. Chapter 1743, Final Chance. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. It is already too late to retreat now. Everyone, please cooperate to counterattack Heavenly Court. They have already used Fate Vanquish once, they won't be able to use it again in a short period of time. This is our final chance. Bing Sai Chuan shouted. The Gu Immortals immediately reacted as they charged forward with clenched teeth. Bing Sai Chuan was right, Heaven Overseeing Tower was extremely fast, they would not be able to escape. Naturally, it was not that some did not think of using other Gu Immortals to stall for time while they escaped. But the crucial thing was Central Continent was too large while they were now deep in Central Continent. Even if each of them escaped in different directions, Heaven Overseeing Tower had enough time to eradicate them. Every southern border and northern plains immortal was in a desperate situation and could only stay and fight. This battle turned all the surroundings into a dark and gloomy state. The northern plains and southern border immortals knew how perilous their situation was, none of them held back and used everything they had to fight back. Heavenly Court's pursuing group had chased with overwhelming momentum, but after contacting the allied forces of southern border and northern plains, facing their counterattack, they instead fell into disadvantage. Fairy Ziwei, has the news of Fate Gu's restoration been announced to the world? Duke Long sat inside Heaven Overseeing Tower and contacted Fairy Ziwei. Shortly afterwards, Fairy Ziwei responded, the news has already been disseminated in Treasure Yellow Heaven. Not only this, Lord Duke Long, your current battle scenes are being broadcasted everywhere through human path methods. Since Rank 9 Fate Gu was restored completely, Heavenly Court naturally was going to publicize this news to raise their side's morale and intimidate their enemies. With this, Heavenly Court could gain the support of the people, even directly persuading those Gu Immortals who were still making chaos and plundering resources in Central Continent to retreat. Duke Long's previous command had only been to spread the news of Fate Gu. But Fairy Ziwei took it a step further and was broadcasting the battle in infallible blessed land. In an instant, countless mortals, Gu Masters, and Gu Immortals learned of the battle. Heavenly Court's action showed their confidence in winning. It was also quite clear that Heavenly Court, possessing Rank 9 Fate Gu, had huge dominance in the battlefield. Fairy Ziwei wanted to take this chance to showcase Heavenly Court's battle strength by capturing all these elites of southern border and northern plains in one fell swoop, to raise the prestige of Central Continent and Heavenly Court to an all-time peak. Duke Long understood Fairy Ziwei's thoughts but he frowned lightly. These southern and northern immortals are in a perilous situation, they are like cornered beasts with the will of dying soldiers, that caused our side to be at a disadvantage. Although this is only temporary. Duke Long realized Fairy Ziwei's deeper intentions, although it was slightly abrupt, since she had already done it, he had to actively cooperate. They had to showcase Heavenly Court's power to the greatest extent. This would not only announce the news of Fate Gu's successful restoration, it would also display powerful strength that could cause others to shake in fear and not dare to oppose Heavenly Court. The other four regions had intervened in this refinement path convention. They wreaked havoc in Central Continent and plundered cultivation resources, greatly harming Heavenly Court's prestige. Now, to raise their prestige again, Heavenly Court had to display absolute strength by dealing with all these southern and northern immortals. They would gain the people's support and make the other four regions fearful of offending them again. Fate Vanquish was no doubt the best choice. It was a rank 9 killer move and because Fate Gu was restored completely, its might was even more terrifying and absolute. But Fate Vanquish could not be activated frequently and needed some time to be used again. Looks like I have to make a move personally. Otherwise, with this battle being broadcasted everywhere and Heavenly Court immortals being suppressed, our performance would not look good. Duke Long arranged for several Gu immortals to take control of Heaven Overseeing Tower while he personally floated out. Duke Long has come out, be extremely careful of him. Bing Sai Chuan was deeply aware of Duke Long's terrifying power, quickly reminding the others. We will attack together. Yao Huang shouted, Fang Yuan and others quickly responded. Clear jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building and other immortal Gu houses protected these rank 8 Gu immortals. Duke Long had just come out when he was besieged by Fang Yuan and the rest's joint attacks. Several rank 8 killer moves were unleashed, shocking the world with their might. Be careful. Despicable. Dodge it. All over Central Continent, especially in the 10 great ancient sects, a large number of Gu immortals shouted in shock. They saw Duke Long being besieged through the video scenes, they were worried and furious. Bam bam bam. Loud explosions resounded again and again, causing dust clouds to appear everywhere. Inside the dust clouds, Duke Long's giant body, however, remained unmoved. The 9 phantom dragons around his body opened their mouths and breathed out strong wind, instantly dispersing the dust clouds. Duke Long was still hovering at the same place with a calm expression. His dragon pupils glanced around him indifferently. Are you trying to scratch my itch with these tricks? Strong. So strong. Yao Huang and the rest who had fought Duke Long for the first time felt their hearts shaken, despite them having already received first-hand information about the battle in Heavenly Court. Bing Sai Chuan gritted his teeth, his eyes slightly dazed. He is several times stronger than before. We don't have 7 extreme desolation now, we can't be his match with just the half-ruined calamity luck altar. What should I do? Immortal killer move, myriad ghost sword dragon. Immortal killer move, centipede scar. Fang Yuan and Heavenly Lord Baizu sent out their killer moves at the same time. On one side, sword chi rampaged and ghost dragons filled the sky, on the other side, countless grayish centipedes flew, seemingly illusion and seemingly real. The 2 killer moves drowned Duke Long from all directions. Countless viewers in Central Continent let out a cry of shock, feeling worried for Duke Long. From amidst the sea of dragons and centipedes, Duke Long's carefree voice sounded out, good moves, but they are not enough. Immortal killer move, Chi current scissors. Boom. A huge explosion rose a terrifying wave in the sea of dragons and centipedes. Chi current scissors flew everywhere, cutting apart dragons like paper. The centipedes were in an even more miserable state, they were smashed into fragments that scattered in the air. Seeing Duke Long safe and sound, the whole of Central Continent rejoiced. Mother, that dragonhorn person is our Central Continent's immortal. Duke Long, he is the master of the legendary Red Lotus Demon Venerable. He has such overwhelming strength. Heavenly Court has made its move, it is better for me to retreat. I have already plundered many resources, I should leave here before deciding anything else. Just like Duke Long and Fairy Zi Wei predicted, the invading Gu immortals began to retreat. Central Continent's morale soared continuously, everyone's hearts had merged together. Our attrition battle tactic was completely ineffective. Heavenly Lord Baizu's face was ashen. It's my turn now. Duke Long said lightly, dragon-shaped chi suddenly flashed and he vanished on the spot. So fast. Where did he go? Yi Haofang's mind suddenly let out intense warning signals, he quickly raised his head and saw Duke Long above him. Dragon claws smashed down, Yi Haofang only had the time to raise his hands to block them. Boom! Yi Haofang was sent crashing down from the height of 500 feet, he created a huge pit on the ground. Guh! Yi Haofang's expression was filled with terror as he coughed out a mouthful of blood. The strike just now had not only broken his defense, it had even inflicted heavy injuries upon him. Dragon-shaped chi flashed and Duke Long appeared before Yi Haofang once again. But immediately afterwards, Five Elements Grandmaster and Chi Chu Yu appeared on the left and right of Duke Long. Although they could not see Duke Long's image and keep up with his speed, they had plentiful battle experiences and had calculated Duke Long would continue attacking Yi Haofang. After all, as the saying goes, injuring all 10 of a man's fingers was not as crippling as chopping one off. Duke Long, you fell for it. You can stay trapped here. Two great formation path Gu immortals, one southern and one northern, laid out a formation instantly. A tiny formation dares to trap me? Duke Long scoffed, his large body shook as he let out his strength. The formation shattered like glass. Chi Chu Yu and Five Elements Grandmaster both let out a muffled grunt from the backlash. But Duke Long was also stopped for a moment and missed the chance to kill Yi Haofang. Yi Haofang had already left the pit and was healing himself while feeling icy cold inside. Duke Long's power was beyond imagination. Yi Haofang was a famous rank 8 expert of the present-age southern border. He was actually almost killed by Duke Long in less than 3 moves. Such power, probably only a venerable can suppress him. Be it defense, offense, or movement, Duke Long is superior in every aspect. Even if we besiege him, he can still retaliate with ease. Who can stop such a person? All the southern and northern immortals were shaking in fear and many more were at a loss. Duke Long was unstoppable, not to mention there was still the rank 9 heaven overseeing tower with a complete fate Gu. What should they do? As if answering the doubts of the immortals, rumbling sound spread and earth started to crack. A huge rift spread across the whole battlefield. Boom! At the next moment, the ground burst open and endless soil and stones flew out like a dark tsunami. A giant dragon that was the size of a mountain flew out from the rift. The dragon opened its mouth was filled with uneven teeth that were sharp like spears and caused people to feel fear. Duke Long, I will crush you to pieces. The giant dragon roared. Legendary immemorial desolate beast, Di Zongsheng. A strange expression flashed past Duke Long's face as he snorted and charged head-on without dodging. An immortal and a beast started fighting, but their fight was a stalemate. When did Di Zongsheng become so powerful? Heavenly Court Gu immortals were stunned. The 5 regions are merging and the earth veins are uniting. Countless lives were sacrificed in this large battle which incited fury of Central Continent's people. All these raised Di Zongsheng's strength sharply. But, wasn't Di Zongsheng trapped in Hidden Dragon Cave? How could it suddenly appear here? The immortals were shocked and puzzled. But they all knew that back then Duke Long had personally suppressed Di Zongsheng, so Di Zongsheng coming to find trouble with Duke Long personally was also natural. Just like Duke Long had said in Heavenly Court, Di Zongsheng's battle strength would rise to become comparable to Duke Long himself. If this is not handled properly, Di Zongsheng will become the strongest legendary immemorial desolate beast of the current world. This is amazing, truly, there is always a way out of predicaments. Let's take this chance to quickly retreat. We can't retreat. Fang Yuan however shouted, this is the perfect opportunity to attack. The arrogant Duke Long is stalled by Di Zongsheng. Now, we can go to Heaven Overseeing Tower and destroy Fate Gu. Saying so, Fang Yuan took the lead to charge towards Heaven Overseeing Tower. Bing Sai Chuan was the first to react. He called out to the Northern Plains Immortals and followed closely behind. The Southern Border Immortals also went into a frenzy and attacked furiously a moment later. You dare! Duke Long was anxious but was firmly held back by Di Zongsheng. He could only look as Fang Yuan and the rest charged forward. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1744, Everybody's Vision. Chapter 1744, Everybody's Vision. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Central Continent, Thunder Peak Mountain Range. Boom. A loud explosion resounded through tens of li. 3 Gu immortals were in the midst of a battle. Leave behind the electrolytic iron starflower, otherwise, even if I die, I won't let you two get off easy. Central Continent Gu immortal Mi Lan Guang shouted furiously. He had two opponents. One was a middle-aged man dressed in a scholar's attire with large sleeves, the other was a short young man who had quite a lecherous appearance. The former was an Eastern Sea Gu immortal, Great Treasury immortal, he had rank 7 cultivation in cultivated information path. The latter was a Central Continent Gu immortal, rank 6 Xianxia. Great Treasury immortal frowned, his eyes hid fury and his tone sounded irritated. Mi Lan Guang, you chased me for so long just for an electrolytic iron starflower? Yes, I admit, this information path and lightning path immortal material was personally grown by you and is something that had never appeared before. My interest was roused and since I cultivate information path like you, I stole one flower to research it. I will tell you honestly, if you continue to chase me for a rank 7 immortal material, I will fight with you to death. I will make you realize that Eastern Sea Gu immortals are not so easily bullied. Xianxia immediately added flattery, Senior Great Treasury immortal, your words are extremely reasonable. We should have already gotten rid of this Mi Lan Guang. Otherwise, if we let him tail behind us, we won't be able to do any transactions. The current situation is an extremely rare opportunity. Great Treasury immortal took a glance at Xianxia and nodded, I suppose we have to. Although Great Treasury immortal had rank 7 cultivation and Xianxia only had rank 6, the latter was a well-known lone immortal of Central Continent. He was proficient in the killer move Sword Escape and was extremely mobile, he was well-informed and familiar with the local territories. It was because he had told Great Treasury immortal of Mi Lan Guang's treasury that Great Treasury immortal learned of such a special rank 7 immortal material like electrolytic iron starflower. Great Treasury immortal cultivated information path so he was very interested. He moved with Xianxia and used the chaos in Central Continent to steal an electrolytic iron starflower. But in this process, he was discovered by Mi Lan Guang. Great Treasury immortal's action was exposed, he could not help but show a weak stance and did not want to attack, thus getting chased all the way by Mi Lan Guang. Mi Lan Guang looked at Great Treasury immortal and then looked at Xianxia, laughing coldly, so it was like this. Next, he said something that stunned Great Treasury immortal. Great Treasury immortal, although you are an Eastern Sea Gu immortal and are also a famous information path expert whose name I have heard long ago, you have been deceived by Xianxia. There are 13 electrolytic iron starflowers in my valley, you stole one and Xianxia plucked 3, but the rest were destroyed by him using sword path methods. What? Xianxia laughed, Mi Lan Guang, isn't your method of sowing discord a bit too poor? But at the next moment, Great Treasury immortal turned around to glare at him, Xianxia, how dare you? Xianxia's heart immediately skipped a beat, not good, they are both information path Gu immortals, I cannot sense their secret conversation. Great Treasury immortal might have already received evidence. Xianxia was resolute, since he could not fool Great Treasury immortal anymore, he gave a villainous laugh as his body turned into a sword and escaped. Great Treasury immortal and Mi Lan Guang were both stunned. This Xianxia has already advanced to rank 7. Is this his true speed? So fast. Great Treasury immortal was shocked and furious, he was actually duped by Xianxia and treated as his tool. Now, Xianxia had seized away more benefits than him and even left him to obstruct Mi Lan Guang. Brother Mi, I will immediately return that electrolytic iron starflower to you. Don't worry, I dug it out along with its roots, it will be convenient for you to plant it again. Moreover, I will also compensate you with resources of equivalent value. Great Treasury immortal took a deep breath before saying solemnly. Mi Lan Guang mumbled before raising his brows, your condition is? Great Treasury immortal snorted, we will ally to deal with Xianxia. He really hated Xianxia. Mi Lan Guang was also the same. He gave a clear smile and extended his hands, it is my honor to work with you, friend from Eastern Sea. The two immediately set an agreement and chased after Jian Yisheng. What made them furious was that although Jian Yisheng escaped, he had actually not gone far. Clearly, he wanted Mi Lan Guang and Great Treasury Immortal to have a fierce battle, then he could charge back at an appropriate timing and reap all the benefits. Right now, when he saw Mi Lan Guang and Great Treasury Immortal collaborating, Jian Yisheng was surprised and irked but not panicked. He even scoffed, even when I was rank 6, my sword escape method left many rank 7 Gu immortals without options. Now that I have advanced this move to rank 7, you will probably only catch me in your next life. Saying so, Jian Yisheng activated the killer move Sword Escape and swaggered off. Mi Lan Guang and Great Treasury Immortal cursed loudly but could only look as Jian Yisheng escaped. However, after a short while, it was Jian Yisheng's turn to complain, "Damn it. Although my sword escape method is fast, it can't be maintained for long. And these two happen to be information path Gu immortals, they are proficient at gathering information and clues, they can track me down." Mi Lan Guang and Great Treasury Immortal hated Jian Yisheng and were closely chasing after him. At every dangerous moment, Jian Yisheng activated Sword Escape killer move to run away. But not long later, Mi Lan Guang and Great Treasury Immortal would catch up once again. Jian Yisheng shouted, "Is there any meaning in chasing me like this? You will be wasting all your accumulated immortal essence and you both will lose a lot when that happens." Mi Lan Guang sneered, "Among the three of us, you have only advanced to rank 7 recently, how much immortal essence reserve do you have? Even if we expend it all, we will get rid of you this time." Great Treasury Immortal nodded and added, "Right. I will let you know Eastern Sea Gu immortals are not easily hoodwinked." Jian Yisheng cursed in anxiousness, "Mi Lan Guang, regardless of what happened, we are both Central Continent Gu immortals, you are actually siding with someone from another region now, are you a traitor?" Mi Lan Guang laughed coldly, "Don't you try to intimidate me, you offended me today, your death is certain." Jian Yisheng could only use Sword Escape to fly away once again. Both sides kept on chasing and halting. Great Treasury Immortal suddenly said, "Oh no, he has stopped at one place. It looks like he discovered the tracking method I planted on him." He lost his connection to Jian Yisheng. Soon, he and Mi Lan Guang arrived at a mountain pass and discovered Jian Yisheng's right arm. Jian Yisheng was resolute, after realizing something wrong, he directly cut off his right arm. Great Treasury Immortal's face was dark as he looked at Mi Lan Guang, "It will depend on you now. Relax." Mi Lan Guang smiled, "This way." The two continued to chase. After several rounds of chasing, Jian Yisheng's face was pale and had no strength to curse as he felt the pressure of death. Gradually, his immortal essence reserve was emptied. "I am going to die but I am not resigned. I broke Great Treasury Immortal's method, but what method did you, Mi Lan Guang, use to chase after me? I dared to offend you because I had some understanding of your methods and could handle them all. But right now, I cannot even discover what method you used. Can you tell me the truth before I die?" Mi Lan Guang sneered, "Don't even think about it. Depart to the afterlife as an ignorant ghost." But at the next moment, Jian Yisheng gave a strange screech and used Sword Escape killer move to escape once again. This guy is really too crafty. Great Treasury Immortal gritted his teeth. "Don't worry, unless he escapes Central Continent, he won't be able to escape my detection," Mi Lan Guang said confidently. Great Treasury Immortal's gaze was filled with surprise as he said, "I am in admiration of Brother Mi's method. Let alone Jian Yisheng, even I have yet to discover your method, it is truly amazing." Mi Lan Guang laughed and waved his hand, "You misunderstood, this is not my method, it is Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable's arrangement." "What do you mean?" "Heavenly Court has extremely deep secrets. But I know some information about this move in particular. Let's continue chasing, I will explain on the way." Great Treasury Immortal nodded and was fully concentrated in listening. He knew Mi Lan Guang was originally a Lightning Path Gu Immortal of Wind Cloud Manor, a subsidiary force of Heavenly Court. But later, He broke some sect rules, his cultivation was crippled and he was kicked out of the sect. After that, he cultivated information path and advanced to become a rank 7 Gu immortal once again. It was not strange for me Lan Guang to know of some secrets regarding Heavenly Court with this background. Mi Lan Guang continued, this move is called Everybody's Vision, it is a human path killer move created by Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. This move uses the foundation of people's united hearts and can let Central Continent's mortals, Gu Masters, and Gu Immortals share their vision. As long as someone sees Jian Yixing's movement light or even discover a trace of his tracks, I can directly obtain the information through Everybody's Vision and catch him. Great Treasury Immortal realized, so it was like this. Everybody's Vision, this move is truly profound. Naturally, people's united hearts is even more so, it can actually let people know each other's intentions and determine enemies and allies, removing the factor of hidden traitors. Wait a moment. Great Treasury Immortal suddenly stopped and looked at Mi Lan Guang with a horrified gaze. Since Mi Lan Guang could use Everybody's Vision killer move, he was definitely under the effect of people's united hearts. He belonged to Central Continent's righteous path, he absolutely would not cooperate with someone who invaded Central Continent, then the only possibility was. Ha, Great Treasury Immortal, you fell for our trap. Jian Yixing revealed himself, laughing heartily. Along with him, many Central Continent lone immortals also appeared. A formation suddenly activated and trapped Great Treasury Immortal. Everything had been a conspiracy, Mi Lan Guang's electrolytic iron starflower was the bait to lure out Great Treasury Immortal, the huge fish. At the same time, Heavenly Court battlefield. This long battle finally reached its climax. Fang Yuan and the rest charged towards Heaven Overseeing Tower while Duke Long was being held back by Di Zongsheng. If Fang Yuan and the rest broke into Heaven Overseeing Tower and Fang Yuan destroyed Fate Gu, Heavenly Court's plan would fail completely. But if Fang Yuan could not destroy Fate Gu, the southern and northern immortals would be in a very bad position, they would be besieged by Heavenly Court's Gu immortals from every direction. This is the final opportunity, I must. Fang Yuan was resolute. At the next moment, Heaven Overseeing Tower let out a dazzling white light. Rank 9 Immortal Killer Move, Fate Vanquish. The time required for Fate Vanquish to be used again has been shortened to such an extent. Fang Yuan was greatly shocked. Almost at the same time, the white light completely disappeared. An astonishing change occurred in the battlefield. Several immortal Gu houses on Fang Yuan's side were completely destroyed along with all the Gu immortals inside. Of the two rank 8 Gu immortals who were right behind Fang Yuan, one was on the verge of death and the other had lost consciousness. All the other immortals were badly injured. Fate Vanquish's power is actually so terrifying. It clearly did not have this power during Southern Border's battle. Terrifying. A complete rank 9 Fate Gu is too terrifying. This is Heaven Overseeing Tower's true power. It is completely unstoppable. Southern Border and Northern Plains Gu immortals felt deep despair, they lost all of their morale. On the contrary, the Heavenly Court Gu immortals as well as countless viewers in Central Continent cheered in joy at this sight. Heavenly Court is powerful. Kill these invaders, make them pay with their blood. With such a method, Central Continent's victory is certain. With the killer move Everybody's Vision, Central Continent's people saw this scene and were rejoicing with great morale. Heavenly Court's divine might was etched deeply into everyone's hearts. Mother, why did that person not fall? All the demons except him have fallen. A young girl shook her mother's hand and asked in confusion. Even mortals could observe the battle. Unfortunately, the girl's mother was only a mortal, she shook her head, mother also doesn't know, but don't worry, our Central Continent is protected by Gu immortals, we won't lose. Fang Yuan. Right, he is an otherworldly demon. He is not an ordinary otherworldly demon, he is a complete otherworldly demon. Fate Vanquish is simply like harmless light to him. After being dazed for a while, the southern and northern immortals gradually reacted. Right now, Heavenly Court's Gu immortals had flown out of Heaven Overseeing Tower and were holding Fang Yuan back, not letting him get close to Heaven Overseeing Tower. However, Fang Yuan's existence was like a spark that lighted up the hearts of the southern and northern immortals. In an instant, an inextinguishable fire burned once again. He's our only hope left. Yes, we still have Fang Yuan. Although I really hate him, but... The southern and northern immortals' eyes shined with brilliance. Their morale had actually risen. The Heavenly Court Gu immortals were astonished. Quick, kill Fang Yuan. Duke Long had just sent the command when he was bitten by Di Zongsheng. But no matter how Di Zongsheng ground its teeth, they only left behind several scars while producing sparks as they dug into Duke Long's body. At the same time, Wu Yong's command arrived through Treasure Yellow Heaven. Southern Alliance immortals, hear my command, use all your strength to help Fang Yuan breach Heaven Overseeing Tower and destroy Fate Gu. Bing Sai Chuan also reacted, help Fang Yuan, this is our final charge. If it does not succeed, we will all die. Everyone, kill. These guys. Fang Yuan, who was being held back, felt the vigor behind him and his eyes instantly shined. Killing intent soared. He laughed heartily, his voice resounding throughout the battlefield, good, from now on, you can all try to stop me. Either you die or I perish. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1745, Lu Weiyin's Betrayal. Chapter 1745, Lu Weiyin's Betrayal. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Infallible Blessed Land Battlefield. At this instant, Fang Yuan along with the southern and northern immortals dashed forward without hesitating. Fang Yuan was at the frontmost position, acting as the sharpest tip of the spear. He had become the only hope of the southern and northern immortals, he was shouldering their expectations. How ironic, how pitiful. This battle has reached such a state where we are actually staking our hopes on our enemy. The southern and northern immortals had complicated feelings. Associating with Fang Yuan, they are indeed a bunch of evil demons. The Heavenly Court Gu immortals shouted with despise as they rushed forward. What else was there to say? Everything was for benefits, everything was for survival, everything was for victory. Fang Yuan. Stop right there. A Heavenly Court Gu immortal pounced on Fang Yuan. I will block him, Fang Yuan, continue to charge forward. Heavenly Lord Baizu called out while moving ahead. Two immortal Gu houses came charging over, these two southern and northern immortal Gu houses inclined to the side, protecting Fang Yuan in the middle like they were guarding their emperor. In the battle of rank 8 Gu immortals, immortal Gu houses seemed like brutes that could only attack by colliding with each other. A sharp light flashed past Fang Yuan's eyes. This was an unprecedented experience for him, he had never expected that there would be such a peculiar scene. He had actually obtained the selfless and sacrificial help of the southern and northern immortals. We will retreat, quick, quick, pull apart some distance. Heaven Overseeing Tower began to retreat. Fang Yuan and others' final charge was too overwhelming, their momentum was like a crazed tiger. At the crucial moment, even though Heavenly Court's members were mostly guarding the back, few could actually come over to help defend Heaven Overseeing Tower. Duke Long lifted his hands with some difficulty and as he pushed apart Di Zongsheng's teeth inch by inch. Although his back was facing Fang Yuan and Heaven Overseeing Tower, he was aware of the battle situation through everybody's vision killer move. Fang Yuan is their only hope, as long as we can kill him, these southern and northern immortals' morale will fall to the depths, they might even surrender because of their hope being extinguished. Not only this, Fang Yuan has Spring Autumn Cicada and is also Red Lotus Final Hope. At this instant, a memory surfaced in Duke Long's mind. Red Lotus was bathed in blood and on the verge of death. He used all his remaining strength to stand in front of Duke Long. Duke Long looked at him quietly and said with a slightly hoarse voice, "Hong Ting, you have no hope left already. Give up, surrender, I will give you the chance to turn over a new leaf. Even at this stage, you are still not willing to give up on me, master." He. Red Lotus Demon Venerable laughed, "But unfortunately, master, my hope has not been extinguished yet." "Humph, what hope do you still have? What are you relying on?" "My hope is not here, master. I left it to the Great Era. When the Great Era is about to descend, you will see him. He will be like me, carving his way to heavenly court in battle." Duke Long sighed and said with an unshakable tone, "Then I shall stop him, just like how I stopped you today. You are my disciple, master will atone for the mistake you made. Regarding your hope, master shall personally kill it." Roar. Duke Long gave a furious roar and exerted strength in his hands. He pried open Di Zongxing's teeth and disappeared. Clang! At the next moment, Di Zongxing's teeth snapped together fiercely and produced dazzling sparks. But Duke Long had already appeared behind Fang Yuan. His large hand grabbed towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan immediately felt an incomparable force pulling at him firmly. A vast aura of danger came from behind him like a tsunami and wanted to drown him completely. Duke Long. Fang Yuan clenched his teeth as he suddenly turned around and used a killer move to fight Duke Long. "I will kill you." Duke Long's amber-like dragon eyes reflected Fang Yuan's appearance, his tone filled with killing intent. But an immortal Gu house inserted itself in between the two. "Fang Yuan, go!" Many southern and northern immortals shouted together. Fang Yuan snorted coldly as he turned around and chased after Heaven Overseeing Tower. Duke Long was blocked. He gave a loud shout as he activated his killer move and slashed with his claws. The incomparably tough immortal Gu house tore apart like it was paper. Duke Long continued to give chase, but he had just moved a few steps when Heavenly Lord Baizu appeared before him. Duke Long grabbed and smashed at Heavenly Lord Baizu. But Heavenly Lord Baizu charged over once again. He didn't die. Duke Long was astonished. He had clearly activated his investigative killer move to sense Heavenly Lord Baizu's main body. But the Heavenly Lord Baizu before him gave off the same feeling as the main body. Duke Long's thoughts moved as he immediately realized, is it a killer move that can allow the main body to immediately switch position with his clones? It was exactly so. Heavenly Lord Baizu was once a famous rank 8 lone cultivator of Northern Plains, and later he obtained He tribe's territory, creating Baizu tribe and joining Northern Plains' righteous path. Longevity Heaven actively roped in all the Northern Plains Gu immortals for the big picture. Heavenly Lord Baizu was among the first to be roped in. One of Heavenly Lord Baizu's conditions to join them was one immortal killer move in Longevity Heaven's treasury. With this move, he could switch the positions of his clone and main body. Heavenly Lord Baizu had specially asked for this because of his repeated failures when he invaded He Fan Grotto Heaven before. It was because of this that after Heavenly Lord Baizu was teleported to Eastern Sea by the killer move Karma Relocation, he was able to quickly switch positions with a clone and return to infallible Blessed Land. Annoying fly. Duke Long frowned slightly. Heavenly Lord Baizu obstructed him repeatedly. Although he could not last even one move, in the time of danger, he would switch position with a clone. His performance was extremely shocking. He actually stalled Duke Long. But soon, other Heavenly Court Gu immortals targeted Heavenly Lord Baizu. Heavenly Lord Baizu fell into danger and was busy taking care of himself. Duke Long caught up to Fang Yuan once again, but Five Elements Grandmaster was already protecting Fang Yuan from behind. Come. Five Elements Grandmaster used his strongest defensive method, Five Elements Ring. This was an immortal formation condensed into a 5-colored ring. If nothing else, I can at least hold on for a few breaths of time. Five Elements Grandmaster gritted his teeth. But Duke Long was not even stalled for a moment, he directly broke the Five Elements ring and chased after Fang Yuan. Five Elements Grandmaster suffered a heavy backlash from having his defensive killer move destroyed. But he quickly swallowed the blood that surged up and chased after Duke Long without any regards for his own health. Duke Long casually threw a dragon-shaped purple gold chi without even looking back. This was a chi path killer move. Five Elements Grandmaster looked on with wide and furious eyes as he was struck by the purple gold dragon chi. With a loud sound, he burst into countless pieces, dying on the spot. Five Elements Grandmaster's death did not deter the Southern and Northern Immortals. Soon, Yi Haofang attacked without any regard for himself as he tried to stop Duke Long. Duke Long was held back for a few breaths of time, but he soon killed Yi Haofang. I don't have much time left. Duke Long did not show it on the surface, but his heart was gradually becoming anxious. Heavenly Dragon's last stand killer move made him so powerful that he could kill rank 8 Gu immortals like killing birds, but his lifespan was about to reach its end. Under the Southern and Northern Immortals' suicidal obstruction, Fang Yuan finally caught up to Heaven Overseeing Tower. Heaven Overseeing Tower was being held back by Bing Sichuan using Calamity Luck Altar. Immortal Killer Move, Great Thief Ghost Hand. Fang Yuan's luck was good, he grabbed a rank 7 Immortal Gu as well as a large amount of Mortal Gu. But this was nothing much to Heaven Overseeing Tower. Especially when Fang Yuan was clearly aware that although Great Thief Ghost Hand relied on ghostly concealment, it was not a genuine rank 9 killer move and had no effect on Fate Gu. The only effective method is still Dream Path killer moves. Fang Yuan did not have offensive Dream Path killer moves and could only use pure Dream Reality Seeker physique bodies to self-detonate. But Heaven Overseeing Tower was already prepared against such a crude offensive method. Fang Yuan had to look for a perfect opportunity, otherwise he would only waste his resources without any gains. Fang Yuan's battle tactic was to use Great Thief Ghost Hand to constantly force back Heaven Overseeing Tower and create a chance to detonate pure Dream Reality Seeker physique bodies. He did not know how long the Southern and Northern Immortals could hold on for, but this was currently his best tactic. But when Fang Yuan used the second Great Thief Ghost Hand, a rank 8 Gu Immortal suddenly appeared and easily blocked his Great Thief Ghost Hand. Lu Wei-yin, what are you doing? The Southern and Northern Gu Immortals immediately shouted out this person's name in surprise and anger. Lu Wei-yin pointed towards Fang Yuan, my disciple Yi Fan died in your hands, Fang Yuan, you shall die here. Lu Wei-yin, you are Paradise Earth's inheritor, you are a Southern Border Gu Immortal. Even if you want to take revenge for your disciple, why do you need to do it at this time? Step aside now. Join hands with us to defeat Heavenly Court. Or else. The Southern and Northern Gu Immortals berated agitatedly. Lu Wei-yin, however, shook his head, everything is too late, Heavenly Court's fate has been repaired, the situation is set in stone. Relying on this demon Fang Yuan will only increase casualties, it will not change our defeat. Everyone, you have to face reality, stop trying to go against the tide, we need to avoid even more death and suffering among the people. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1746, by Ning Bing's Betrayal. Chapter 1746, by Ning Bing's Betrayal. 2. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Lu Wei-yin might have no offensive killer moves, he was extremely powerful in other aspects. He easily blocked the Southern and Northern Immortals' furious attacks, even Fang Yuan was unable to do anything to him. Indeed worthy of being Paradise Earth's inheritor. Many Heavenly Court Gu Immortals observed with their full attention. In just a short period of time, Lu Wei-yin had actually blocked the Southern and Northern Immortals' crazed attacks by himself. Almost none of Heavenly Court Gu Immortals present now could achieve this. Only now were the Southern and Northern Immortals aware of Lu Wei-yin's power. Despite Lu Wei-yin having no offensive methods, his comprehensive strength was still above Li Huang and Chen Yi. The southern and northern immortals were full of hatred towards Lu Wei-yin. This hatred was many times stronger than their hatred towards Fang Yuan. It was because Lu Wei-yin's appearance had destroyed their last hope. Fang Yuan and the rest attacked madly, but all the attacks were blocked by him alone. Ha ha ha. Duke Long laughed loudly. He was currently entangled with Di Zongsheng. Lu Wei-yin had salvaged the situation in his place. Duke Long was much happier to be receiving Lu Wei-yin's help than him taking action personally. Because this meant that Paradise Earth's faction had submitted to them. This is the heart of the people. Back then, when Fate Gu appeared, Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable relied on it to change the minds of many human Gu immortals and awakened the spirit to resist our common enemy. The same thing is happening now. An injured Fate Gu was not worthy of being revered. But a complete Fate Gu was a banner just like the records in history. Its significance to humanity far surpassed its own abilities. It represented the support of the people. This was the trend of the future. Human hearts were difficult to change, but Heavenly Court had Fate Gu and could make countless enemy Gu immortals dispel any thought of confrontation and even make them betray their side and surrender. With this, Heavenly Court and Central Continent would save an immense amount of effort and trouble. Duke Long could not help but be thankful towards Fairy Ziwei's choice. Using everybody's vision, all these scenes were disseminated to every part of Central Continent and even throughout the other 4 regions and 2 heavens. Lu Wei-yin's stance was a sign. He was the start of the trend where large numbers of Gu immortals would surrender and bow their heads to Heavenly Court in the future. The impact of a pioneer was limitless. Especially when it was Lu Wei-yin, Paradise Earth's inheritor. In the future, when many Gu immortals hesitate whether to surrender or not, they would think, even Lu Wei-yin, this Paradise Earth inheritor, changed sides, so what if I do the same? Thus, they would get past this mental obstacle. Lu Wei-yin's action was like a formless storm and its influence would spread to all parts of Central Continent. The other region's Gu immortals who were already preparing to leave, they retreated even faster now. At the same time, in the headquarters of Spirit Affinity House, Zhao Lianyun looked like she was ready to move out. Fairy Lianyun, where are you going? It is extremely dangerous outside. Bu Zhenzi persuaded. Zhao Lianyun smiled, I have Love Gu's protection and the enemies are currently fleeing in fear. If we want to make some contributions, isn't this the perfect time? Zhao Lianyun's wish was soon approved by several supreme elders of Spirit Affinity House. In the previous chaotic battle in Central Continent, all kinds of monsters and demons appeared and fought, creating chaos and disorder. For the restoration plan, Heavenly Court had mobilized a large amount of Gu immortals from Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects. Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects became weak, they could only give up many of their territories and resources, wisely choosing to go on the defensive. Right now, through everybody's vision killer move, the Gu immortals who were guarding various areas realized the change in the situation. Many experienced ones understood this was the time to counterattack. Kill these thieves who dared to invade my Central Continent. Beat them, beat these despicable fellows till they are scared out of their wits. Ah, this stifling anger inside me, I shall vent it all on you. With Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects at the lead, waves of counterattacks started. The remnant righteous path, demonic path, and lone immortals in various parts of Central Continent made their move and quickly recovered the lost territories while also attacking the 4 regions Gu immortals who were still in Central Continent. The 4 regions Gu immortals were beaten back step by step, some even died. These battle scenes were all seen by the Central Continent Gu immortals in infallible blessed land, their morale immediately rose. Fang Yuan and the rest got into an increasingly perilous situation. Duke Long was very pleased. This was the scene he wanted to see. Using the banner called Fate Gu, almost all the Gu immortals of Central Continent were roused and united. This unified force was terrifying. This was already proven by the rise of humanity in Heavenly Court's historical records. At this moment, Duke Long could feel it very deeply. Every generation of Heavenly Court members placed so much focus on Fate Gu intentionally to establish the meaning behind this banner. This was a signal from the depths of the soul. It was an intense and irresistible call of duty. Fate Gu itself was only a rank 9 immortal Gu and could not even be used directly. But in Heavenly Court's hands, it was given a spirit and significance that far surpassed itself, and this influence was further magnified countless times using the history of the human race. Looking at it, wasn't it an incredible situation? Fate Gu's practicality was far lower than other rank 9 immortal Gu like Wisdom Gu. But when it was used by Heavenly Court, it could change people's hearts, unite the scattered forces and merge everyone's will into one. Lu Weiyin's Betrayal. Lone immortal Jian Yisheng and Milan Guan, who was expelled from his sect, both took the initiative to ally and ambush Great Treasury Immortal. With Zhao Lianyun as the representative, Central Continent's Gu Immortals counterattacked. The other 4 regions' Gu Immortals retreated with an all-time low morale. It was impossible for an immortal killer move to achieve all these changes, even if it was the rank 9 killer move people's united hearts. But now, Duke Long relied on just Fate Gu to achieve these. Gu Master and Gu Immortals nurtured, used, and refined Gu. Not mentioning the other 2 aspects, just based on using Gu, Heavenly Court's usage of Fate Gu had already broken free of its limitations. They far surpassed the Gu's limits. They reached an unprecedented and supreme level. If one considered this kind of move carefully, it was shocking. The Heavenly Court Immortals attacked from all directions, clearing their old debts. The southern and northern Immortals were trapped and surrounded. Some screamed, some were bleeding, some were panicking, and some looked upon death calmly. Fang Yuan's heart was also shrouded by a dense shadow. He was unable to break Lu Weiyin's defense, and Heaven Overseeing Tower had already stabilized itself. Duke Long had intentionally led Di Zongsheng far away to fight. The enemy's chances have already been sealed off. Almost all the Heavenly Court Gu Immortals had this thought. Ha ha ha, in the end, it is still up to me to turn the tides around. Right at this time, a voice familiar to Fang Yuan spread throughout the battlefield. At the same time, Immortal Gu House Dragon Palace appeared behind Heaven Overseeing Tower. By Ningbing. How did she get control of Dragon Palace? Fang Yuan was astonished. The other Gu Immortals were even more shocked. Bai Ningbing had already prepared her sneak attack for a long time. While all the Immortals were stunned, Dragon Palace shot out a dense smoke that floated towards Heaven Overseeing Tower. It was like Heaven Overseeing Tower had fallen into a swamp. At the crucial moment, the Gu Immortals inside activated their method. Immortal Killer Move, Invincible Phantom Tower. In an instant, Heaven Overseeing Tower went into phantom form and became virtually untouchable. Going into phantom form, hee hee. Bai Ningbing sneered, you are underestimating me too much. Dragon Spirit. A boy stood beside her. He laughed, Master, watch me. The dense smoke covered Heaven Overseeing Tower. Heaven Overseeing Tower had turned phantom but was still unable to stop the dense smoke from invading it. This is Dream Path Offensive Killer Move. Fang Yuan's side was stunned and happy, while Heavenly Court's Immortals were stunned and furious. What is going on? Both sides were bewildered. Rewinding time back by a little bit. Central Continent, Hidden Dragon Cave. The battle had already reached the moment of victory and defeat. Heavenly Court's reinforcements greatly improved the situation of the 4 dragon generals. But these reinforcements were already expected and responded to by Eastern Sea's rank 8 Gu Immortals. They fought fiercely, making the battle even more heated. The 4 dragon generals were still curling up inside Dragon Palace, and Heavenly Court's reinforcements would not get past the Eastern Sea Gu Immortals within a short period. But right at this moment, a figure appeared at the edge of the battlefield. It was Bai Ningbing. Chen Yi had used Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable's arrangement to use Immortal Killer Move Karma Relocation to block the attack of the Immortals. Fang Yuan had quickly found the best method to deal with this. Bai Ningbing attacked under Fang Yuan's command and was transported by karma relocation. Bai Ningbing looked at the place she was transported to and realized she was in a dangerous situation. This was a rank 8 level battlefield and it was so intense that it was not something she could be involved in. Bai Ningbing wanted to retreat, but be it Eastern Sea or the Heavenly Court Gu Immortals, they both attacked her immediately. The Heavenly Court Gu Immortals saw Bai Ningbing as an enemy, they naturally wanted to eliminate her. Meanwhile, the Eastern Sea Gu Immortals did not want Bai Ningbing to leave and expose the secret here, so they were going to kill the eyewitness. At once, Bai Ningbing fell into a life and death crisis. This is trouble. She was deeply aware of it. Even if she transformed into Bai Xiang form, it would be of no use against killer moves of rank 8 Gu Immortals. As death descended upon her, she was not afraid at all, she was only dissatisfied and felt pity as she mumbled, "Is this as far as I go?" "No, Master." At this crucial moment, she suddenly heard an innocent and clear voice. Dragon Palace shook as it directly teleported Bai Ningbing to the deepest part of Dragon Palace. This scene stunned all the rank 8 Gu Immortals in the battlefield, the battle even paused for a moment. "Who are you?" Bai Ningbing discovered that a peculiar life form was standing before her inside Dragon Palace. It had the appearance of a young boy, but it had horns on its head and a tail behind its back. Its eyes shined brightly, it looked cute and adorable. It looked at Bai Ningbing and spoke, "A blessed land has a land spirit, a grotto heaven has a heavenly spirit, while Dragon Court has me, Dragon Spirit." Dragon Court? But isn't this Immortal Gu House Dragon Palace? Also, why are you calling me Master? Bai Ningbing naturally knew of Dragon Palace, so she felt very puzzled. Dragon Spirit laughed. Back then, Dragonman Gu Immortals created Dragon Court, but Duke Long did not allow it and changed its name to Dragon Palace. As for acknowledging you as Master, it is my only choice now. Because you are a dragon man who had escaped fate and is opposing Heavenly Court, you are the only candidate suitable to be my Master currently. Master, I have been waiting for you. Duke Long does not know about my existence, I have been hiding and making him have the false impression that he had successfully refined Dragon Court. Heavenly Court is too powerful, I implore Master to make a move to solve this present danger. In the future, we will lead the Dragonman race to follow the decree of heaven, we will defeat the human race and make Dragonmen the rulers of this world. What do you mean? Bai Ningbing frowned, feeling inconceivable, I am only a rank 7 Gu Immortal, even if I have future self, I do not have rank 8 battle strength. Let alone in the current situation, even rank 8 Gu Immortals are unable to resolve this predicament. Master, you need to have confidence. Fate Gu had shown the revelation long ago, humanity will fall and Dragonmen will reign supreme. Our Dragonman race will be the next leaders of this world and thus Dragonmen are destined to expel humanity and unite the world. That scoundrel Duke Long is not worthy of being the Dragonman ancestor, he is our race's biggest traitor. Dragon Court's power has not been displayed fully because it lacked a true master. Of course, Dragon Court is only a rank 8 Immortal Gu house right now, even if it uses all its might, it will be difficult to make a breakthrough. So I request Master to subdue Di Zongsheng. Bai Ningbing was surprised, Di Zongsheng can be subdued by me. Dragon Spirit gave a confident smile, Master, you don't need to be excessively humble. Dragonmen will reign supreme, the divine beast shall pave the path for us. Di Zongsheng was created by the heavenly Tao, it has innate hatred towards the human race, it is actually our Dragonman race's divine beast. Dragon Court was unable to subdue it because it was only an Immortal Gu house and lacked a true master. But with you, all the conditions have been fulfilled. Bai Ningbing blinked her eyes repeatedly, coming to her senses only after a long while. She had many doubts, for example the statement that Dragonmen would reign supreme, wasn't it humanity who would reign supreme? If Fate Gu decreed that, why would Heavenly Court still try everything in their power to repair Fate Gu? Bai Ningbing suppressed all the doubts in her mind as excitement emerged in her heart. This is really interesting. I never thought that right before my death, there would be such a twist of events. Heavenly Court still seems to contain many secrets. Although I was a human, I transformed into a dragon man using a special method. But leading the dragon man race to rise and overturn humanity's rule, this matter truly makes my heart pound when I think about it. It is interesting to resist Heavenly Court, but it is even more exciting to lead the rise of the dragon man race. Ha ha ha, interesting, interesting. Bai Ningbing's eyes shined brightly as she laughed heartily and said to Dragon Spirit, no matter what you are or what plans you have, I don't care. Anyway, if you had not saved me, I would have already died. Your goal is truly interesting, I accept it. What should I do? Bai Ningbing was different from others, she was a true demon and based her decisions on what she liked. She did whatever felt more exciting to her. The so-called human identity would never bind her. Lu Wei-yin had betrayed Southern Border while she had betrayed humanity itself. Dragon Spirit was exulted, Master, with you making a move, Di Zongxing's allegiance is an easy matter. Dragon Spirit was so excited that his tears fell, this is great. I had almost given up in despair, but Master, your appearance means that my wait was not in vain. The current heavens will has been influenced by star constellations will, which changed the revelation of Fate Gu. But this doesn't matter, a large number of hibernating Gu immortals have died in Heavenly Court, star constellations will has lost her reinforcements, the will of the Heavenly Tao has started to suppress her. The fact that you appeared here proves this. Now, we will first subdue Di Zongsheng and fight our way back to the battlefield. Be it Heavenly Court or the Southern-Northern Allied forces, they are at conflict with each other. Although I wish that they would all die, this is an extremely rare opportunity to seize Fate Gu. Comment. As long as we come into contact with Fate Gu, the revelation of Dragon Man's supremacy will appear and we can imitate what primordial origin Immortal Venerable did back then. With this banner in our hands, we will change the hearts of people, the Dragon Man race's rise will be unstoppable. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know in report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1747, Star Constellation Sacrifice. Chapter 1747, Star Constellation Sacrifice. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Even Heaven Overseeing Tower with rank 9 Fate Gu was unable to stop the invasion of the Dream Path Killer move. Dragon Palace was a rank 8 Immortal Gu house with rank 8 Immortal Gu Dream token. The rank 8 Dream Path Killer move that was created from this was probably the number 1 Dream Path Killer move in the present world. As the saying went, one skill to dominate the world. Heaven Overseeing Tower did not have any Dream Path defensive methods, thus Dragon Spirit's action immediately showed effect. If this goes on, Heaven Overseeing Tower will no longer exist. This move is not just pure erosion using the Dream Realm, it is a Dream Path Killer move and Heavenly Court can't do anything to it even with pure Dream Reality Seeker transformation. In an instant, Yao Huang and the rest saw the hope of victory. Who could have thought that at this final juncture, it would be Bai Ningbing who would turn the situation around? We have to hold on. Everyone, defend Dragon Palace. The Southern and Northern Immortals actively cooperated. Heavenly Court's Gu Immortals were pale in shock, their confident expressions were non-existent as they began to attack nervously. Something is wrong. Fang Yuan had been paying attention to Duke Long and quickly realized something wrong. Duke Long, who was entangled with Di Zongsheng, was not panicking at all, his expression was calm and his gaze even showed a trace of nostalgia. Over 1,000,000 years ago. In the depths of Heavenly Court. Hong Ting, you still dare to come to Heavenly Court, you will not be able to escape anymore. The secret of your rebirth has already been exposed, you actually dared to go against fate and defy Heaven's will to attempt to resurrect dead people, you have truly disappointed me. Duke Long looked at Red Lotus, his expression was dark and his gaze was burning with fury. Red Lotus Demon Venerable smiled, Master, since I have come here, I have already resolved myself to die, furthermore, I am not here to destroy Fate Gu, so you don't have to be so anxious, Master. Oh. Then what are you trying to do? Red Lotus Demon Venerable took a deep glance at Duke Long. I want to persuade Master to help me destroy Fate Gu. Duke Long was stunned before laughing loudly. He then slowly stopped laughing and looked at Red Lotus with his unfathomable dragon pupils. Then tell me, Master will listen properly. Red Lotus smiled. Having been reborn tens of thousands of times, I found clues by chance and used more than 10 rebirths to understand them clearly. Fate Gu has already abandoned humanity. Its current revelation have 4 words. He had yet to finish speaking when Duke Long finished his sentence. Dragon men will reign supreme. Red Lotus was dazed before laughing. Master, you knew about it indeed. Are you protecting Fate Gu to ensure the rise of the Dragon Man race? After all, the biggest group of dragon men in existence currently are your own bloodline descendants. Of course not. Duke Long shook his head and said in a deep voice, Hong Ting, you don't know the whole situation. Master was the first to discover the secret of Dragon Man's supremacy and was also the first to report it. Although I turned myself into a Dragon Man and became the Dragon Man ancestor, my true heart has always been on humanity's side. Whether you believe it or not, this is the truth. I believe you. Red Lotus showed no hesitation. I believe in Master's heart. Oh Master, the extent to which you understand me is also how much I understand you. You will never betray humanity for your own self-interest. Just then, I was afraid you would deny my words and was intentionally agitating you. Humph, little brat. Duke Long snorted, but a gratified emotion rose in his heart as he continued. Master created the Dragon Man lifespan extension method so I could continue teaching you, to help you lead Heavenly Court and the whole of the human race, but I had never imagined Fate Gu would give a revelation of Dragon Man's supremacy. However, after the initial shock and fright, Master gradually realized that Fate Gu is a heaven path Gu worm. The way of heaven always takes away surpluses while replenishing deficits. Humanity has prospered, uniting the 5 regions and 2 heavens. We are flourishing much more than the variant human races of the past. This will naturally cause the heavenly Tao to take away surpluses while replenishing deficits. This is the same situation as when Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable obtained Fate Gu and caused humanity to reign supreme. However, Master still continues to defend Fate Gu. Do you know why? Red Lotus's eyes shined with bright light as he asked, why? Duke Long heaved a deep sigh. Actually, Fate Gu's hidden threat was already raised by Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable in his era. Humanity was united because of Fate Gu. Almost all the humans gained the courage to resist the variant human races after learning who heaven sided with. However, once the fate of humans being supreme vanishes, what will the humans do then? This was no doubt a huge threat, and this issue was not resolved even after Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable passed away. On his deathbed, he handed this heavy responsibility to his disciple. This disciple was the future star constellation Immortal Venerable. When her lifespan was near its end, she finally thought of a way to resolve this hidden crisis. That was assimilating with the Tao. Red Lotus frowned. Assimilating with the Tao. Indeed. Duke Long continued to explain, Fate Gu can only be controlled directly by the heavenly Tao. Human or variant human Gu immortals can at most observe a thing or two and obtain some revelations. Maybe in the future, with the development of new paths that can test against each other, there may be a way to use Fate Gu, but it is impossible for now. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable thought, since she could not do anything to Fate Gu, she might as well target the source itself. Thus, she sacrificed herself, and by assimilating with the Tao, she used her own will to participate in the operations of the heavenly Tao, interfering and influencing heaven's will. Because heaven's will was influenced, Fate Gu could be grasped by Heavenly Court indefinitely. So that's what happened. Red Lotus Demon Venerable's heart shook as he came to a realization. Fate Gu's web is called all-encompassing web. Everything in the world is bound by this web, to be arranged and controlled by fate. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable directly manipulated heaven's will and is thus able to influence Fate Gu, making humanity reign supreme forever. No wonder Fate Gu is so important to Heavenly Court. No wonder Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's arrangements could stop 3 demon venerables including myself. No wonder Heavenly Court has stood undefeated, becoming the sacred land of humanity and the #1 superforce in the world. Duke Long nodded. Hong Ting, your intelligence has never disappointed Master. The trend of the world is that there will be unification after prolonged division and division after prolonged unification. Have you seen any super force that could last forever? Looking at ourselves, people's hearts are easy to change, they are filled with desires which can hardly be satisfied. Even stronger forces or familial fetters cannot fill the deficiencies of the human heart. Looking at external issues, if a powerful Gu immortal is offended, it will usually result in the super force facing huge problems. If this Gu immortal cultivated to rank 8, they quite likely could even completely exterminate a super force. In this world, individual strength can easily surpass a group. There will rarely be a super force that can last for a great number of years. But our heavenly court is an exception. Why is it? Because we have Fate Gu. Under the arrangements of fate, we have always been the sacred land of humanity, our internal affairs have always been harmonious, even if there are conflicts, they will be smoothly resolved through all kinds of coincidences and fated encounters. Our enemies usually cannot grow completely, even if there are rank 8 enemies, they would gradually decline, and there won't even be a need for Heavenly Court to make a move personally before the enemies die or even surrender because of all kinds of events. All these miracles were brought about through star constellation Immortal Venerable's sacrifice. Without her rank 9 wisdom path cultivation, there is simply no way to interfere and alter the operations of the heavenly Tao. However, even if it was star constellation Immortal Venerable, her will was often disadvantaged when contesting against heaven's will. Red Lotus realized, like the revelation of Dragon Man's supremacy. Yes. I was also shocked back then. But when I knew of this ancient secret, I chose to wait. Sure enough, not long later, Fate Gu's revelation changed once again, Dragon Men will reign supreme, vanished, it went back to, humanity will reign supreme. Duke Long smiled. Later, I went through Heavenly Court's secret records and discovered such cases had occurred many times. Dragon Men will reign supreme is only the most recent one. The revelation of Dragon Men reigning supreme is not reliable. Red Lotus's heart sank continuously. Since his master Duke Long already knew of this, then why did he listen to his questions? He suddenly realized, it was not him who had infiltrated Heavenly Court, but Duke Long who had been waiting for him to make inquiries and then tell him Heavenly Court's ancient secret. Red Lotus stopped thinking about it as he looked at Duke Long. Duke Long smiled. Hong Ting, Master waited for you to tell you this and make you repent. You created spring-autumn cicada and can rebirth, this is truly a demonic behavior. It looks like you have hope of changing the past, but do you really? No. Duke Long shook his head and said in a resolute tone. Because above you, there is heaven, there is the heavenly Tao, there is star constellation's will, there is Fate Gu's revelation. How can you overturn heaven? How can you change the past? So what if you have the strength of a rank 9 demon venerable? Limitless and reckless savage are the best examples. How long can a venerable live? The longest living one was Lord Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable, but it was still only 25,000 years. And Heavenly Court? It has millions of years of history and accumulations. It has the sacrifice and protection of more than one Immortal Venerable. It has Fate Gu. This is the big picture, can you topple such a deep foundation? Especially since you have been reborn, you are only using future self to gain rank 9 battle strength. You are not yet a true rank 9 venerable. Red Lotus was silent. Even the powerful him felt constant helplessness against Heavenly Court. He could destroy Heavenly Court, but what use would that be? As long as Fate Gu existed, Heavenly Court could be easily recreated. And because star constellations was influencing heaven's will, Fate Gu would always decree that humanity reign supreme, Heavenly Court would also be the sacred land of humanity and would always be the number one force. Under Fate's control, all sorts of fortuitous encounters would be arranged and countless talents would actively side with or surrender to Heavenly Court. Heavenly Court was not the crucial point, star constellations will and Fate Gu were the most important elements. Star constellations will. First of all, Red Lotus was not a wisdom path rank 9, he had no methods to deal with star constellations will which had assimilated with the Tao. Secondly, he did not want to deal with star constellations will. After all, star constellations will interfered with heaven's will and protected the status of the human race, making humanity prosper eternally. Red Lotus only wanted to revive his family and loved ones, he never wanted to betray or harm his own race. So, there was only one answer left for Red Lotus Demon Venerable, that was to destroy Fate Gu. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1748, Duke Long's Sacrifice. Chapter 1748, Duke Long's Sacrifice. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Destroying Fate Gu would be harmful to humanity, but the 5-region situation would still remain the same because of star constellations' will. Without Fate Gu, neither Heavenly Court nor the Heavenly Dao would be able to use it. In a situation where both sides were equal, the humans would have a huge advantage. Why would they watch as other races got stronger? But Red Lotus was not an otherworldly demon. How would he be able to destroy Fate Gu completely? Even after being reborn countless times, Red Lotus could not find a method which could destroy Fate Gu completely. Thus in this rebirth, he came to persuade Duke Long to make him come over to his side and work together. But who could have expected Heavenly Court to have this kind of secret? Red Lotus plan failed. Experience was still the deciding factor. Red Lotus wanted to persuade Duke Long, and Duke Long was also waiting for this chance to persuade his favorite disciple. Hong Ting, stop now. Duke Long spoke earnestly, I said all this so that you will come back. The righteous path is not only about glory and reputation, it is often accompanied by sacrifices. For humanity, for Heavenly Court, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable sacrificed herself. And you? Your parents and wife died in order to pave the road to Immortal Venerable for you. Their sacrifices were necessary and valuable. Do you still not understand it? Hong Ting. Stop this now. No, I won't stop. Red Lotus's gaze was firm. Forgive me, Master, I have disappointed you again and again. But this is the path that I want to walk on. Duke Long shook his head with a bitter expression and said, I am not disappointed, I would be suspicious if you agreed instead. I know your will cannot be shaken easily, this was already within my estimation. So now, let your master use himself as an example to teach you. What do you mean? Just as Red Lotus was confused, Duke Long activated an arrangement he had already prepared. Immortal Killer Move, Dragon Man Extermination. Red Lotus's bewildered expression was soon replaced by shock when he sensed this killer move's nature and effect. Red Lotus shouted in shock, Master, you actually killed all the Dragon Men in the world. Your children and grandchildren are among them. If I recall correctly, all your children and bloodline descendants should have already turned into Dragon Men. That's right. Duke Long's body trembled, his voice was slightly shaky. I am the ancestor of Dragon Man, the first Dragon Man in the world. When I had created the method of Dragon Man transformation, I had already made this arrangement which allows me to use my identity as the ancestor to easily eliminate all other Dragon Men. When the Dragon Men Reign Supreme revelation appeared, I had thought of using this method. At that time, however, star constellations will manifested and instructed me to let the Dragon Men live for the time being and use them in the future. I hesitated again and again. Hong Ting, you have also seen my children, grandchildren, and descendants. It was the greatest happiness for me to enjoy my old age with my grandchildren and family. Sigh, I am already old. Master. Red Lotus wanted to speak but stopped, not knowing what to say to comfort Duke Long. Duke Long's eyes reddened and were filled with tears. Red Lotus had never seen this side of Duke Long. He said while choking with tears, I understand it clearly, even without the Dragon Men Reign Supreme revelation, the Dragon Man race will always be a hidden threat to Heavenly Court and the human race. Because the Dragon Man race is different from the other variant human races, it was created by me, the members were originally human. It is like a blood-sucking leech that has attached itself to humanity, strengthening itself while sucking on the blood of humans. The Dragon Man lifespan extension method is only secondary to Lifespan Gu for extending life. Lifespan Gu are few, but how many billions of people want to extend their lifespan? The Dragon Man population will continue to increase while humans will become fewer and fewer. More terrifyingly, dragon men are born from humans, naturally lowering the vigilance of humans. And with my reputation and the protection of being a venerable's master, who can suppress or disturb the dragon men? If this goes on, the dragon men will suppress humanity someday in the future. If a mishap happens again and Fate Gu reveals the revelation of dragon men reigning supreme again, the consequences will be unimaginable. Duke Long then looked deeply at Red Lotus. When you entered Heavenly Court this time and tried to persuade me, I suddenly realized that this was the timing that star constellations will predicted. The dragon man race should not exist, but its extermination also needs to have value. This value is to persuade you, my disciple Hong Ting. Master wants to teach you the spirit of sacrifice. I will show you the spirit of the righteous path of humanity. Red Lotus, Master. Duke Long's body shook as he could not hold back his tears any longer. He had personally killed his children and descendants, his heart was filled with sorrow and pain like it had been cut by a knife, but there was not even a trace of regret. His voice suddenly rose as he shouted towards Red Lotus, Hong Ting, my disciple. Your path is a dead end, you cannot win against Heavenly Court. Because Heavenly Court's power is not just its superficial foundation or even Fate Gu. Its power comes from the generations of Gu immortals who do not hesitate to sacrifice themselves. They protect humanity and righteousness with each generation carrying on this will and moving forward. Without these sacrifices, humanity might still be trampled and enslaved by the variant human races. We would not have such a good life like now. Hong Ting, Master taught you, Heavenly Court cultivated you, what you enjoyed were the fruits of the dedication and sacrifice of our predecessors from ancient times until now. So, come back, Hong Ting. Follow the arrangements of fate. Red Lotus. Infallible Blessed Land Battlefield. Duke Long's memory passed by in an instant, his gaze regaining its sharpness once again. He looked at the distant dragon palace and sneered, such a pity. Dragon spirit, your existence was already deduced by Fairy Zi Wei. We are only playing you at your own game. At the next moment, he activated an immortal killer move. He had once used this immortal killer move to persuade Red Lotus but it did not succeed. But now, it was more than enough to kill Bai Ning Bing. Immortal killer move, Dragon Man Extermination. In an instant, Bai Ning Bing's body shook violently, her heart felt like it was clenched by someone as she fell on the ground while coughing large mouthfuls of blood. Dragon Spirit cried out in shock, what happened? It did not know the secret of the past. In truth, it had only taken birth long after the Dragon Man race was exterminated by Duke Long. Under Dragon Spirit's frightened gaze, Bai Ning Bing quickly died, her corpse that was gradually losing heat was lying in the large dragon palace. Heavenly Court. Fairy Zi Wei walked out of the large formation that was imprisoning Spectral Soul. Heavenly Court's battlefield was not cleared up yet. Fairy Zi Wei came to Spectral Soul's prison to give a quick check. I worried too much. Even if Spectral Soul Demon Venerable was savage and powerful, the current Spectral Soul is only a remnant soul with no goo worms or immortal essence. How can it do anything? Let alone escaping this imprisonment. Oh. Dragon Spirit is also exposed, everything is going according to plan. Fairy Zi Wei smiled when she observed this. She had deduced Dragon Spirit's existence as she had doubts about it. An ownerless dragon palace was actually able to capture the 4 dragon generals. It was extraordinary. After she deduced Dragon Spirit's existence, when Dragon Spirit tried to hoodwink Duke Long and create a false impression that Duke Long had refined Dragon Palace, Heavenly Court was aware of it. Duke Long consulted Fairy Zi Wei. Fairy Zi Wei played Dragon Spirit at its own game, laying a trap that was hidden Dragon Cave. This trap not only targeted the Eastern Sea Gu immortals, it also was a plot against Dragon Spirit and Di Zongsheng. Without such a strategy, how would Fairy Zi Wei dare to use the killer move Everybody's Vision and broadcast the battle in infallible blessed land everywhere? Fairy Zi Wei entered an immortal Gu house which held Benevolence Gu. She thought to herself, now, it is time to deal with Fang Yuan Spring Autumn Cicada. Infallible Blessed Land Battlefield. Boom! Dragon Palace was sent flying away while Dragon Spirit screamed in panic. The Dream Path offensive killer move was broken, Heaven Overseeing Tower was restored back to its previous state and turned back to solid form. The Heavenly Court Gu immortals inside the tower laughed heartily, their plan to bait the enemy was a great success. Damn it, so this was all Heavenly Court's scheme, the battle had never left their control. Fang Yuan's expression was heavy as he admitted, we have lost this battle. Bing Sichuan realized this as well, but he still sent Gu immortals to attack Heaven Overseeing Tower. Heaven Overseeing Tower retreated extremely quickly, making the southern and northern immortals feel even more despair. Time to retreat. Fang Yuan's gaze turned, he had a rank 8 killer move that used fixed immortal travel as the core, which could give him the chance to leave if used properly. However, at this time, a group of Heavenly Court Gu immortals with Lu Wei-yin at the lead surrounded Fang Yuan and the rest. Fang Yuan's side was like a cornered beast that counterattacked wildly. Lu Wei-yin saw the situation and used an immortal killer move, 8-point Sanctum. This move was a defensive killer move, it not only protected the user, it could also affect others. 8-point Sanctum instantly formed a sand sphere that covered the Gu immortals and blocked every immortal killer move. It even blocked Calamity Luck Altar's killer moves. Everyone, both enemies and allies, was astonished. Lu Wei-yin's strength had far surpassed their expectations. Lu Wei-yin's display completely threw the southern and northern immortals into the abyss of despair. On the other side, Duke Long got free from Di Zongsheng and charged towards Dragon Palace. Di Zongsheng wanted to chase him but was held back by Heaven Overseeing Tower and other immortal Gu houses. Duke Long, the greatest traitor of our people. Dragon Spirit screamed as it hid in the depths of Dragon Palace. Duke Long would not be able to find it within a short period of time. He poured in his immortal essence without any regard for the expenditure, forcibly refining Dragon Palace once again. He laughed, I have to thank you for resolving this troublesome Di Zongsheng for us. Now, as long as I gain complete control of Dragon Palace, Di Zongsheng will also submit to me, Heavenly Court will obtain the strongest immemorial desolate beast in history. Dragon Spirit shouted in anger, cursing Duke Long for being despicable and sinister while using all its effort to block Duke Long's forceful refinement as it hurriedly called for Di Zongsheng. Di Zongsheng roared repeatedly and attempted to break away from the obstruction. Heavenly Court's defensive line was on the verge of breaking, but at the crucial moment, Heaven Overseeing Tower displayed its might again, activating Fate Vanquish. Di Zongsheng bore the full brunt of the killer move and was suppressed fiercely. Over half of the Gu immortals on Fang Yuan's side were instantly killed by Fate Vanquish. The rank 9 killer move's power was truly too terrifying. Only Fang Yuan alone was immune to Fate Vanquish power. Fang Yuan, don't think you will survive. You cannot escape. These immortal killer moves were specially prepared for you. Have a taste. Close to 10 rank 8 Gu immortals surrounded Fang Yuan and a large amount of killer moves assaulted him from all directions, making it difficult for him to use Gu worms at the moment. Trying to target my spring-autumn cicada. Damn it! Fang Yuan clenched his teeth as he exerted all his efforts in trying to activate his killer moves. He did not hesitate to expend his Dao marks, myriad sword ghost dragons flew out but were suppressed by Heavenly Court Gu immortals, let alone breaking past the defensive line. Suddenly, a dragon roar resounded throughout the battlefield, Di Zongsheng's enormous head collided into the encirclement that surrounded Fang Yuan. This legendary immemorial desolate beast was also in a hurry, it disregarded everything and endured countless killer moves to go reinforce Dragon Palace. Haha, too late. Duke Long laughed loudly, he had already refined Dragon Palace for most part and was about to grasp Dragon Spirit as well. Dragon Spirit shouted, even if I die, I won't let you have your wish. Boom! Dragon Palace self-detonated, countless fragments shot everywhere, the majestic Dragon Palace only had a small foundational floor and several pillars left. This is the time. Taking advantage of this chaos, Fang Yuan finally got free from some obstacles and his clone activated an immortal killer move, Spring-Autumn Success. The demon wants to counterattack, I will protect you all. Lu Weiyin shouted while activating 8-point Sanctum again, protecting countless Gu immortals. Now is the time. At the exact same moment, Fairy Zi-Wei quickly activated an immortal killer move, Benevolent Equality. Duke Long directly tore the 8-point Sanctum that was protecting him and carried the remnant Dragon Palace while charging towards Fang Yuan. He ran into Di Zongsheng on the way, but Di Zongsheng actually lowered its head and showed submission. Fang Yuan, you should also go and die. Duke Long appeared before Fang Yuan like he had teleported. At the moment of life and death, Fang Yuan quickly activated every killer move he could, but they were all blocked or restrained by the other Heavenly Court Gu immortals. Bam! A muffled sound echoed. He was directly hit by Duke Long, his blood, flesh and bone fragments splattered everywhere as his soul dissipated completely. He was dead. Fang Yuan was dead, the final hope was also gone. Bing Sichuan and the rest were like defeated soldiers as they stood dazed on the spot. Some took the initiative to surrender, while Bing Sichuan and some others gave a loud shout and attacked Duke Long. Duke Long sneered as he grabbed and punched, killing Bing Sichuan and the rest. After a while, there were either dead or surrendered southern and northern immortals. This long war had finally ended. We won. Heavenly Court is mighty, Duke Long is mighty. Many immortals rejoiced and Central Continent was even filled with cheers and scenes of jubilation. Duke Long swept his gaze around calmly before fixing it on Lu Weiyin. Lu Weiyin bowed. What instructions does Lord Duke Long have? Duke Long chuckled, saying with a deep meaning, we owe you for lending benevolence Gu and siding with us in this battle. Heavenly Court won't stint on your rewards. Lu Weiyin quickly thanked him. Duke Long secretly transmitted to Fairy Zi-Wei, did that killer move work? Fairy Zi-Wei, yes, do we attack Lu Weiyin now? Duke Long secretly replied, leave him be. If we harm him, who will dare to side with us later? That killer move is only an insurance, whether Fang Yuan rebirths or not, as long as I am around, what harm is there in repeating this again? Duke Long took a heavy breath and said, our plan has finally been achieved. Fairy Zi-Wei's voice was choking with emotions. That's right, using the plan of repairing Fate Gu, we lured the other 4 regions to invade and stimulated Central Continent's people to have a common hatred for the enemy and eliminated internal spies. The great era is coming, our Central Continent is united, our Heavenly Court's commands will be obeyed and implemented sincerely. She knew Duke Long was about to die. Duke Long laughed heartily. He did not care about his death as he encouraged Fairy Zi-Wei, with you here, I can rest at ease. Wisdom Path Gu immortals would not fight on the front lines, they were more useful when making plans for the big picture. Master. Right at this time, under Feng Jiuji's protection, Feng Jin Huang arrived before Duke Long and wept. She also knew this was the final moment of Duke Long's life. Duke Long stroked Feng Jin Huang's head and said, people have to die one day, fallen leaves return to their roots, how can a new generation emerge without the departure of the old? Disciple, don't be sad. At the same time, Duke Long secretly transmitted his voice and instructed, O Huang heir, become an immortal venerable and lead Heavenly Court towards the peak. Our Central Continent is right in between the other 4 regions and it has no geographical advantage. But we have our own superiority, we possess the sect system which is long-lasting. Previously, even with Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects, we could only barely stabilize and maintain the situation. Countless sects, lone and demonic immortals were dissatisfied towards my Heavenly Court occupying so many cultivation resources. But after this battle, there are no internal threats left, the people's hearts have changed, they will have merged and they want to take revenge. Heavenly Court is the place where the hearts of the people will be entrusted to. In terms of favorable condition, geographical advantage, and unity, Heavenly Court has existed for millions of years and possesses Fate Gu, we already have favorable conditions. After this battle, we also have the strongest unity among the 5 regions. Go conquer them and unite humanity. Establish an unprecedented supremacy that will last for all eternity. Master can only do this much for you. After saying this, Duke Long looked longingly towards the horizon. The setting sun dyed the clouds red in the horizon. The dying sunlight shone on Duke Long's body. His dragon horns were broken, but it made them look even more malevolent and domineering. His shining dragon eyes still had battle intent in them. His scales were scarred and broken, blood dyed them red, his dragon claws had taken the lives of countless rank 8s. The heavenly court immortals surrounded him in the air, looking at him silently. No one spoke. Dizongxing lowered its head, unmoving like a giant statue. Earth shook as it produced waves of deep, rumbling noises. At this moment, the regional walls that separated the 5 regions had completely disappeared. The earth veins were connected as the 5 separate regions merged into one. Without the obstruction of the regional walls, people could freely move through the 5 regions with no obstructions. At the same time, the differences in heaven and earth chi also disappeared gradually. Duke Long smiled, saying with anticipation for the future. Ah! The great era has arrived. This was his final sentence. He closed his eyes slowly. Heavenly Dragon's last stand, his time was up. Like this setting sun, the legend of a generation had passed away. But his invincible figure was deeply imprinted in the eyes of the countless people of Central Continent. His sacrifices and contributions were like a spiritual fire that burned in the hearts of countless people. Duke Long, Duke Long. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1749, Clones Rebirth. Chapter 1749, Clones Rebirth. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Surrounded by pitch-black space, there was a boundless river. It was flowing fast without stopping, its start and end could not be seen. Secluded domain of heaven and earth, river of time. Water of the river of time was pale white and colorless, but countless ripples were colliding and creating beautiful colors at all times. Every ripple was a story, an event that occurred in the past. Innumerable droplets of water splashed and collided, the whole river of time was like a river of fireworks that shined with dazzling and brilliant lights. A small goo worm appeared which was covered in an emerald green light, it dove into the water of the river of time. This goo worm's head and stomach were brown and yellow, there were tree bark rings like marks on its surface which seemed to be a testament to its long life and dignity. The wings on its back were huge, they were translucent and resembled 2 overlapping tree leaves. The small goo worm was inconspicuous in the large river of time, it was smaller than an ant. After the goo worm dove into the water, it displayed great determination as it went against the flow, moving upstream. Treasure Yellow Heaven. There was a commotion, goo immortals were discussing with each other. This commotion was caused by 3 rib bones along with a video of a battle. Unimaginable, this demon Fang Yuan already has such battle strength. Sigh, his growth is too fast, he is already a demonic path overlord of this generation. Fang Yuan is an otherworldly demon, and has used spring-autumn cicada to rebirth, he naturally has an enormous advantage in cultivation. I recognize her, this is Heavenly Court's Gu Immortal Thunder Ghost True Monarch, who could have thought she would actually be suppressed by Fang Yuan. Thunder Ghost True Monarch Jing Lan, this is an old senior, she is still alive. So much for Central Continent's Heavenly Court being regarded as the #1 human force. They have been trying to capture Fang Yuan all along, and even sent a rank 8 Gu Immortal, but look at this, Fang Yuan actually beat her up so miserably. Inside Heavenly Court, Chen Yi's expression looked unsightly and Fairy Zi Wei's body trembled from anger. Fang Yuan, this scoundrel is simply too sly. Fairy Zi Wei said with gritted teeth. This was because the video in Treasure Yellow Heaven only contained the part where Fang Yuan successfully counterattacked and pummeled Jing Lan. Chen Yi asked with a frown, "Lady Zi Wei, do we report this to Thunder Ghost True Monarch?" Thunder Ghost True Monarch Jing Lan was the most recently awakened expert of Heavenly Court. Jing Lan chased after Fang Yuan, but a moment of carelessness led to her being counterattacked by Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan used myriad dragons and directional confusion fog to delay her while he entered the depths of the regional wall. When Jing Lan chased after him again, Fang Yuan was already far away from her. Fairy Zi Wei could not deduce Fang Yuan's exact location, so Jing Lan had lost her way in the regional wall. "Zi Wei! Where is that demon Fang Yuan?" Jing Lan transmitted her voice. She was burning with rage, so her tone was very blunt. What should have been an easy prey actually caused her to land in such an extremely miserable situation with serious injuries. How could the proud Jing Lan accept this fact? She gritted her teeth, desperately wanting to kill Fang Yuan and erase her shame. Fairy Zi Wei was silent for a moment before slowly informing Jing Lan. "What? Even you lost him?" Jing Lan was furious and discontented. Fang Yuan's wisdom path attainment is already no longer the same as before. But he will go to Langya Blessed Land no matter what. We have already made some arrangements there. Although we failed to capture this scoundrel, we have also made huge gains. Not only did we waste a large amount of his immortal essence, we also forced him to reveal many trump cards. How could a Gu immortal like him be dealt with in one battle? Fairy Zi Wei gently persuaded Jing Lan. Jing Lan was silent, standing on the spot. After a while, she heaved a long sigh. Her anger had dissipated. "I underestimated him. This person is astonishingly talented. He is indeed worthy of being the person chosen by Heaven's Will and Shadow Sect. Next time we fight, I won't make the same mistake." Compared to Fang Yuan, there is an even more troublesome matter. Fairy Zi Wei tactfully informed Jing Lan of the matter in Treasure Yellow Heaven. The calm mood Jing Lan had just regained was immediately overthrown by waves of anger. "What? This guy actually dared to sell my rib bones? Outrageous, simply outrageous." Jing Lan immediately connected to Treasure Yellow Heaven, and sure enough, saw her own rib bones being put for sale. Anger surged to her head, and her eyes turned bloodshot. Soon after, when Jing Lan saw the projection of the scenes where Fang Yuan pummeled her, she almost crushed her teeth. "Damn that guy, when he ends up in my hands later, I will tear off his skin, pull out his tendons, and grind his bones till they turn to dust." Fang Yuan retreated while paying close attention to Treasure Yellow Heaven. He sneered inwardly. Although he lost the battle against Jing Lan, being able to achieve such a battle result against a rank 8 with his rank 7 cultivation was truly a glorious loss. 3 rib bones and that video were actually Fang Yuan's glorious flaunting of his battle strength. Victory or defeat is secondary in a battle, the more important thing are the gains and losses. Although I lost this battle, the things I gained are what I need. Fang Yuan had tried to regain his upper extreme heavenly eagle but was obstructed by Lu Wei-yin. Feng Jiu-gu had invaded Langya Blessed Land and discovered Wisdom Gu. He even took away Guyu Fangzheng and Dang Hun Mountain. Fang Yuan detonated Dang Hun Mountain, causing Thunder Ghost True Monarch to awaken. At the same time, Chen Yi's Karma Divine Tree could display its ability, which Fairy Zi Wei used to deduce his location. Thunder Ghost True Monarch thus accurately ambushed Fang Yuan, but Fang Yuan was able to escape due to all kinds of factors. Heavenly Court discovered and invaded Langya Blessed Land. They will absolutely attack again. Langya Blessed Land is extremely important to me, I cannot lose it. I must gather every force that can be used to fight Heavenly Court's next invasion. The 4 Races Alliance can be used. My reputation has increased greatly after this battle. I will have even more power to express my opinion in the 4 Races Alliance and even be regarded as the hope of fighting rank 8 by these variant human Gu immortals. While escaping quickly, there were Gu immortals in Treasure Yellow Heaven who inquired about the price of Thunder Ghost True Monarch's rib bones. But why would Fang Yuan sell them? This was the best opportunity to damage Heavenly Court's reputation, and it was the opportunity for him to raise his own reputation. He was not going to be greedy over some profits and sell these 3 rib bones away. I must grab every opportunity to damage and weaken Heavenly Court's prestige, while also raising other Gu immortals' courage. When the crucial moment comes in the future, there will be even more Gu immortals who will dare to oppose Heavenly Court. Furthermore, would there not be Heavenly Court's members among these buyers? There must be. There is even a huge possibility of Thunder Ghost True Monarch being among them. He. Fang Yuan chuckled. He was being optimistic in these tough times, but his mood was still heavy. Heavenly Court had discovered Xianxia Blessed Land. Who knew when they would attack again? This made Xianxia Blessed Land a dangerous place. Once Xianxia Blessed Land's defense failed, it would be a heavy blow to Fang Yuan. Since long ago, Fang Yuan had been deepening his cooperation with Xianxia sect and had received huge help at many crucial times. Xianxia Blessed Land could be considered an immense support to him. But it was not easy to resist Heavenly Court. With just him, Xianxia Blessed Land and the 4 Races Alliance, was there really hope? It is not the time to give up yet. When I return to Xianxia Blessed Land, I will absorb the long hair true meaning. Even if Xianxia Blessed Land's defense fails, I will try to extract every possible benefit from Xianxia sect. Just as he was thinking of this, Fang Yuan's body suddenly shook and an immensely shocked expression appeared on his face. He was a demonic overlord who wore a constant poker face and was extremely shrewd. Why would he turn so pale? Just a moment ago, Fang Yuan's clone had told him extremely valuable information. My clone was reborn. Spring-autumn Cicada brought the will of my future clone and returned to my time path clone. So my attempt had failed and Heavenly Court still managed to repair Fate Gu completely. Fang Yuan's expression soon calmed down and the raging waves in his heart were also quickly pacified. Fang Yuan's gaze was deep and dark like the abyss. When he gave Spring-Autumn Cicada to his Time Path clone, he had expected a possibility of such a situation. So he was able to quickly accept this fact. Heavenly Court strength made him feel like he was pressed down by an entire mountain range. But isn't this more interesting? Fang Yuan's eyes revealed a smile, but it was filled with coldness and mania. Fear. What was that? Even if he failed 10,000 times, 1,000,000 times, or hundreds of billions of times, as long as there was a chance, Fang Yuan would never give up. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1750, Obtaining Steel Life Immortal Gu. Chapter 1750, Obtaining Steel Life Immortal Gu. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Xianxia Blessed Land. A large group of variant human Gu immortals were waiting in front of teleportation Gu formation with anticipation. Suddenly, the immortal formation began to activate and let out a dazzling light. Standing in front of the variant human Gu immortals was black-haired land spirit who was immediately happy as he shouted, "He is back, he is back." Behind him were the Snowman, Rockman, and Inkman Gu immortals who all had complicated expressions. Xianxia Blessed Land had just been invaded by Heavenly Court, and due to the 4 Races Alliance agreement, these 3 variant human tribes had the responsibility to help the hairy men and protect Xianxia Blessed Land from Heavenly Court. When Xianxia Land Spirit requested their help, these 3 variant human tribes' leaders were unwilling. They were filled with bitterness and regret towards the alliance agreement. But what use was their regret? They could not go against the alliance agreement. Even if they successfully violated the alliance agreement by some way, so what? At present, humanity was the ruler of the 5 regions, an undeniable overlord. The survival space for variant human tribes was extremely small. They could only live by allying with each other. This strategy was not wrong. It was just that the 3 variant human tribes had not thought Xianxia sect would actually attract Heavenly Court. What kind of existence was Heavenly Court? This was the #1 human force, a colossal organization that had existed for millions of years. Compared to Heavenly Court, the four races alliance was too minuscule and would not even be able to endure any setback. So when Langya Land Spirit requested for help, these three races had been unwilling and had been making excuses. Who could have thought that at this time, Fang Yuan would put Thunder Ghost True Monarch's rib bones for sale in Treasure Yellow Heaven? This result invaded the variant human Gu immortals' hearts like a hurricane. They saw hope of resisting Heavenly Court. But the more important thing was Langya Blessed Land now possessed rank 8 level battle strength. If they refused Langya Land Spirit's request, besides having to face the backlash from breaking the alliance agreement, the three races would also have to face Fang Yuan, a Gu immortal that could fight rank 8. The balance in their hearts had quickly inclined to one side. The snowmen were the first to change their standpoint, expressing full support for Langya sect. Following them were the Inkmen and Rockmen. It was truly correct of me to take in Fang Yuan as an external supreme elder. Langya Land Spirit was greatly pleased at achieving his objective. After he got Fang Yuan's message and knew he was returning, he had an inspiration and brought these variant human Gu immortals to welcome Fang Yuan. The light dissipated and Fang Yuan's figure appeared in front of everyone. The variant human Gu immortals looked on with all sorts of expressions as Langya Land Spirit greeted Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan looked around and laughed on the inside. It is the same scene as my previous life. Langya Land Spirit really has some political skills, using me to suppress the other allies. But Fang Yuan did not want to engage in small talk and waste time for no reason. Just like in the previous life, he gave a nod to Shui'er and left. This small action, however, greatly excited the Snowman Gu immortals, while making the Rockmen and Inkmen feel envious. Because of the battle with Thunder Ghost True Monarch, Fang Yuan's status had greatly risen in everyone's hearts, but Fang Yuan's mind was sober at this moment. After the rebirth, his battle strength was once again back to the peak of rank 7, he was simply nothing when compared to Heavenly Court. In fact, even in the previous life when he had peak rank 8 battle strength, so what? Fang Yuan and Langya Land Spirit had a private conversation. Langya Land Spirit returned Fang Yuan's perceivable Dao Immortal Gu and also told Fang Yuan that Heavenly Court had indeed planted some methods and harmful Dao marks in Langya Blessed Land. Langya Land Spirit was extremely worried. Because even after trying with all his strength, he could do nothing to these Dao marks. Fang Yuan was well aware that these Dao marks were a portion of Heavenly Court's famous Star Cast Killer move and were intentionally left by Feng Jiugu. In his previous life, when Heavenly Court initiated the second invasion, these Dao marks turned into a spiral tunnel that directly transported 4 rank 8 Gu immortals in. In this battle, Fang Yuan obtained rank 7 fixed immortal travel but exposed his Emperor Yama killer move as well as his Swan Bujin identity, and even lost his ally, Langya sect. In the end, Fang Yuan retreated. Heavenly Court also had to retreat while Longevity Heaven became the one who benefited the most. Fang Yuan played dumb and replied to Langya Land Spirit, "First Supreme Elder, don't be too anxious, let me deduce first and plan on how to deal with this situation." Langya Land Spirit heaved a sigh, "All right." He found it strange, Fang Yuan actually did not mention even a word about the long hair true meaning. This did not match Fang Yuan's usual personality. However, Langya Land Spirit also would not remind Fang Yuan. After all, although he had agreed to give it to Fang Yuan, he was still extremely unwilling to part with the long hair true meaning. Right now, Wisdom Gu was still in Langya Blessed Land. Fang Yuan arrived before Wisdom Gu and stayed there for 3 days and 3 nights, using his time path clone to deduce continuously. This rebirth was somewhat special compared to the previous ones. The rebirth period was quite long ago, having traveled years into the past. But this was reasonable. Because Fang Yuan's clone already had rank 7 cultivation back then and Spring-Autumn Cicada had also been advanced to rank 7, he had also used the killer move Spring-Autumn Success. Fang Yuan's main body was killed while the time path clone self-detonated with much deeper foundation than before. Spring-Autumn Cicada had more fuel and the rebirth would naturally go back a lot further in time. As for the first rebirth where Fang Yuan traveled back 500 years with just rank 6 cultivation, it was the work of heaven's will, it was a special situation. Actually, there is also the killer move Spring-Autumn Target in Red Lotus True Inheritance which can go back to a specific time. But this killer move cannot guarantee the success of rebirth, so I chose Spring-Autumn Success to remove the possibility of failure. Fang Yuan took a glance at Spring-Autumn Cicada. The current Spring-Autumn Cicada was not rank 7 like in the previous life, it had returned to rank 6. Moreover, because of the rebirth, its state was not optimal, it looked extremely lethargic and its body was brown like dying leaves. It required time to rest and recover. In Red Lotus True Inheritance, there are many killer moves that can hasten the recovery of Spring-Autumn Cicada. Spring-Autumn Cicada is indeed worthy of being Red Lotus Demon Venerable's vital immortal Gu, its effect is truly too powerful. Fang Yuan sighed internally. He was no longer a mortal Gu master, so there was no danger of Spring-Autumn Cicada bursting his aperture. With the current progress, even without Fang Yuan speeding up Spring-Autumn Cicada's recovery, it would recover completely by the time of Central Continent's Refinement Path Convention years later. At that time, Fang Yuan would be able to use Spring-Autumn Success once again. But Heavenly Court is so strong, even if I can rebirth again and again, it would be no use if I don't find a way to win against Heavenly Court. Thinking of his previous life, Fang Yuan felt a mountain pressing down on him. Heavenly Court's foundation was so unfathomable that it shook the world. Fang Yuan was still unable to see how many Gu immortals there were in the immortal graveyard. Duke Long definitely had pseudo-immortal venerable battle strength, only Bo Qing might have the strength to contend against him. Fang Yuan himself was killed by Duke Long alone turned their strong invasion into an utter failure. Naturally, a venerable was an invincible existence, even Duke Long would not be able to compete against any of their killer moves. But with this, the exchange of moves between venerables across time and space along with their respective plans made the originally chaotic situation even more complicated. These venerables had arranged countless methods which influenced the whole situation again and again. Fang Yuan felt a headache recalling it. Besides Duke Long, there was also Fairy Ziwei, Chen Yi, Li Huang, Qin Yi, Yuan Qiongdu and others. These Gu immortals were elites and could not be looked down upon. Even more terrifying was their sacrificial mindset towards Heavenly Court, they were willing to contribute everything without fearing death. That kind of fanaticism towards Heavenly Court and humanity made Fang Yuan feel a trace of wariness and trepidation. If I can't find a way to win against Heavenly Court, it is useless even if I have the chance to rebirth countless times. To win against Heavenly Court, I have to try my best in this life and not let go of any chance to strengthen myself. I need to plan carefully. Fang Yuan started to make plans. There was no doubt that skill and foresight were required to make use of rebirth. Although Fang Yuan had the advantage of future knowledge, he only had memories. He was no longer the same as before, he was the number 1 rank 7 in the world, his every move had wide-ranging influence. If he changed many things for minuscule profits, the influence would become even greater and cause reality to experience huge changes, sharply lowering Fang Yuan's rebirth advantage. But if he was too hesitant to make changes because of this, then he would not improve enough to become Heavenly Court's match when the time comes. This required a good balance. There was also another crucial thing, he had to prevent other Gu immortals from knowing he had been reborn again. The longer he could preserve this secret, the more beneficial it would be for him. Fang Yuan spent about 16 hours to sort everything out, creating an enormous and meticulous plan. Fang Yuan called Xianxia Land Spirit, "How many immortal Gu do you have? Let me have a look at the list." I thought about it and felt that Refinement Path True Meaning would not be useful to me. If there are suitable immortal Gu, I might give up on Refinement Path True Meaning and choose those immortal Gu. Ah! Xianxia Land Spirit cried out in shock and joy, "Okay, I will immediately give you the list." As far as Xianxia Land Spirit was concerned, the symbolic meaning of the Refinement Path True Meaning was too huge. It was just like what Fate Gu was to Heavenly Court, besides its own power, it had emblematic psychological value as well. Previously, Langya Land's spirit had lost Fang Yuan's Dang Hun Mountain, and according to the agreement, he had to compensate Fang Yuan with refinement path true meaning, but he had been very unwilling. Fang Yuan looked at the list and discovered Steel Life Immortal Gu was actually included. In his mind, he nodded in satisfaction. He could see from this that Langya Land's spirit did not hide anything. In the past, Fang Yuan had used Spectral Soul's True Inheritance to exchange for Long Hair True Inheritance from Langya Land's spirit. Both sides had held back, not exchanging their trump cards. Langya's sect had Long Hair Refinement Path True Meaning, Long Hair Refinement Path Formation, Omnipresent 4 Cs, Refinement Water, Steel Life Immortal Gu, Heavenly Giant Solar, the Agreement with Longevity Heaven, and so on. These would not be taken out to exchange with Fang Yuan. In the previous life, Fang Yuan had obtained Refinement Path True Meaning from Langya Land's spirit, raising his Refinement Path attainment level to Quasi-Supreme Grandmaster level. This choice was not wrong, as the Refinement Path attainment level had provided Fang Yuan with a huge help. But now that Fang Yuan had been reborn, his attainment level in Refinement Path was the same as in his previous life. It was still at Quasi-Supreme Grandmaster. So Refinement Path True Meaning was useless to Fang Yuan. This was because the attainment level of Fang Yuan's main body was always shared with the Time Path clone. Unlike Spectral Soul's clones, Fang Yuan's main reason for creating the Time Path clone was to make the Time Path clone bathe in the light of wisdom and help him deduce things. How could this work without shared attainment levels? Now, although it was only the Time Path clone who had reborn, his attainment level was the same as before, so the attainment levels of Fang Yuan's main body naturally rose as well. Thus, Fang Yuan made a different choice in this life. I choose Steel Life Immortal Gu, and also these. Give me all the Time Path Immortal Gu. Langya Land's spirit was dazed for a moment before quickly agreeing, okay. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.